Hey guys, do you like heavy metal? Do you like video games, comic books, movies, theme parks, or even cool TV shows? We've got the place for you. Metal Geeks. Time to rock out with your geek out. Here are your hosts, Cary the Metal Geek, Dave, and George. Geek it out, fellas.
Welcome, my friends, to episode number 246 of the Metal Geeks podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am Cary the Metal Geek, along with...
I'm Brutal Dave. Hello, gents.
Brutal Dave. Welcome to 2024, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey,
so far, so good.
We've been here for a minute.
And we also have...
Not so brutal, George.
How are you, my friend?
A little under the weather, but I'll be okay.
Then you won't be as excited when you don't like our opinions on your movies. And
it's fine.
He's used to it.
And we also have back to the show our very special friend and guest, Justin the Metal Detector.
Actually, I'm no longer Justin the Metal Detector.
No, we have a new
He doesn't detect metal
new
anymore.
moniker. So I've been Comical JC for the longest time. Now I'm HarshJC.
Don't harsh my buzz, man.
Are you just like trolling online? Like, fuck you.
I mean, it could be that, but I'll explain what that's about in just a minute. I know Cary wants to lead into it. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to talk about our resolutions really quick. But I want to say we haven't done an episode in a while. It was the holidays, and then I went on a cruise for New Year's, and I came back with an unwanted souvenir this time. I got COVID for the family. Yay!
The gift that keeps on
The gift that kept on
Happy
giving,
New Year.
even weeks later. It was Happy New Year. It was not as bad as the last time. I will say that much. We went on the Carnival Jubilee. We were on the second ever sailing of this huge new carnival ship. And next episode, we're really going to talk more about it. I'm actually going to bring on a YouTuber that we met on the ship called Escape Adventures with Robin and Steve. And they're going to come on. We're going to talk more about the cruise later. Cool. But it was a good time. I will say that much. The drink package was worth it. There was a couple of nights where...
the drink package is always worth it.
It was a little crazy. I'll say that much. But in 2024... now we are living. We're going to talk about our resolutions for this year.
All right,
George, I'm going to let you start first.
I don't do resolutions. That's my resolution.
are you going to resolve not to take NyQuil medicine when you mean to take DayQuil medicine?
Hey man, so it was Mucinex. It wasn't
okay.
NyQuil. And
Mucinex.
so the
There you go.
Mucinex nighttime medicine is colored yellow, and the daytime is colored green. It's easy to mix up.
Yeah,
okay?
why wouldn't they do like red and blue like everybody else? That's weird.
I don't know. It was
Take the
weird.
red or the blue. Come on, you know.
Anyway, so
Well, hope
yeah,
you,
I don't really do resolutions. I think that's just like, I don't know. Mentally, it's not a good exercise. I think it just ruins you if you don't make it, and you just become too harsh on yourself, and nobody should ever have to go through that.
I have two resolutions on my end. I want to read more this year. I want to read more books or read more comics, whatever it is. I don't make the time to do it. But I also have something, and I don't think it's really a resolution, but in October, my 50th birthday is coming up, right?
Wow.
And I have committed to be fit by 50, thanks to one of my YouTubers that I watch, Adam the Woo. He's doing the same thing. His birthday is in August, so I have 2 months on him. Yeah, I'm going to do everything I can to be fit by 50.
Cool.
What does that mean?
I'm going to lose some weight and not be a fat fuck anymore.
I mean, fit's such a broad term.
This is why George
Fat
can't
or
do
fuck?
resolutions, because he can't leave it open and broad like that. It's got to be clearly defined.
Well, all right, fine. I just want to lose some weight. I want to feel happier about myself.
There you go.
I don't care what other people think. I care about how I feel about me.
Absolutely, man. That's
what I want to
matters.
do.
Absolutely.
It's been up and down with my weight the past couple of years, and I want to get back down. That's
yeah,
it.
feel that.
COVID put a real monkey wrench in everything.
It did.
So,
COVID in life.
but that was last year's problem. So now can't use that as an excuse anymore. I
That's
guess.
right. But my favorite resolution is 1920 by 1080.
It's a good one.
We're not going to go there.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. Dave, what about you? Do you have any resolutions?
I also don't really do resolutions in the traditional sense. I also find it to be a counterproductive practice most of the time, especially for someone like me who has executive functioning problems and routine. Routines are weird for me.
Sure.
I don't establish them very well, and established routines can be changed instantaneously for me. Like routines they're not really a thing for me. And so creating like a resolution for me isn't really a productive exercise, but especially when they're open-ended, like we were joking about a second ago.
Yeah.
They have to, if I'm going to set a goal for something, being more precise about it is more
Inobtainable.
Yeah, you got to know what it is you're working for. Again, I deal with this kind of stuff all the time because I have to live in the world where
I'm about to say this sounds like
executive function, and I don't executive function.
I'm about to say this sounds like somebody who's been in therapy before. Because
yeah, I don't compensate. I have to compensate for all of that, and so I'm constantly making resolutions. I make resolutions all year long, and it just
goes by the wayside.
I got to strike when the iron is hot and plan as well as I can.
Makes sense.
But establishing routines isn't really a thing.
What about you, Mr. Former Mr. Metal Detector?
Well, I have 5 resolutions. None of them are open-ended.
Wait, we only have time for 5. I'm sorry.
Well, that's all I've got. So,
okay.
Number 1, I need to get in shape as well. So,
let's do it.
Goal number 1 is to lose 50 more pounds between now and Comic Palooza. I've been working out, trying to lose weight since September. I'm down 67 pounds. Need to lose another 50 by Comic Palooza, and then another 50 by the end of the year to be at my goal weight. So that's the objective.
Let's do it. I
think it's very doable.
Let me talk to you about what you're doing then.
So
that's a lot of weight to lose in that small amount.
I got a lot more to lose than you, so it's easier when you're bigger, to be honest. So number 2, and this kind of falls into the last 3 or 4 years. My life has just been so busy. We had a baby. We moved houses. We sold our old house, moved to an apartment, moved again. I've changed jobs 2 times. Like, it's just been so much going on. And all of my projects have sort of gone by the wayside. So goal number 2, George, in March, I want to resume working on Speak No Evil. For real. I know I've been the problem. We haven't been working on it, but in March, I'm going to be connecting with you, and we're going to be resuming that. So
I am putting that on my calendar, and I will be calling you March 1st.
That's the comic book that Justin and George do together.
Yeah, well, it's been 4 years since we've worked on anything with it, really. But life's just been getting in the way, and now I'm finally at a point where I understand my job. I'm good at my job. I don't have to devote as much energy to learning it. I'm settled into the house. The baby's doing great, so I have time to do things again. So that's one thing I really want to get back to. And then the goal, in addition to that, is I want to have issues 4 and 5 published by the end of 2024. So we'll get at least 2 issues done this year. To go along with that, another sort of in limbo project is Mind Fudge Comedy. That's not really my fault. That's more Andy's fault than anything. But I'm going to force him to at least record.
I feel like this is all just a passive-aggressive attack on George from Justin. That's all this is.
No, George.
Justin's resolutions are all about what George needs.
That's not entirely true. It's just these particular 2. So Mind Fudge, I want to do it 4 shows this year at least. 1 a quarter, I think, is something that Andy should be able to commit to. If he says he's going to do it, I'm going to fucking
quarterly
drive to LaPorte and fucking make him come back and record with me. But we're going to do some shows. So there will be some new Mind Fudge Comedy by the end of 2024.
All right.
Moving on. Number 4, something that I've always kind of wanted to do as a metalhead and have never done before is create a battle jacket. I thought about doing it a bunch, and Cary did his a couple years ago, kind of inspired me. So this year I'm going to do it. I've been looking at patches and stuff. So, I don't know exactly when or how long it's going to take or anything, but
it's never too late to create a battle jacket.
It's something. It's a rite of passage for all metalheads that I haven't gone through yet. So got to do that.
I bought a vest for my Casey Jones Halloween costume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to turn mine into a movie battle jacket.
That's cool.
There you go. You can. Battle jackets, people think, oh, it has to be metal. It can be whatever makes you happy, whatever you want to wear to show other people that you love. That can be it. It can be movies, it can be whatever.
Show people what you're
My battle jacket.
I'm planning to start a separate, like, not non-music battle jacket.
Oh, cool.
Because I've got my music one that's all band stuff, and I've got some patches that don't fit. And I'm thinking of starting like a pop culture vest.
I'm still trying to get Kim to do her battle jacket.
Somebody's calling for you, Cary.
My wife just texted that she wants to make a battle jacket. So
she should. I mean, we should all do it, and then
we should all do it, and then I'll take a group photo, like a really cheesy one.
How are your stitching skills?
Mine are
okay. Terrible.
Yeah. Kim did all mine, so I know hers is going to look good.
Catherine has a sewing machine, so I'll probably be using that.
Cool.
Okay, so battle jackets by October, right?
Oh, definitely by October. Yeah, I'm going to start working on mine next month. So October is very doable.
Great place to look.
I need to find the right patches.
A great place to look is Pull the Patches.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great.
Pull the plug.
Pull the plug.
Yeah,
patches.
that's the site I've been looking at. They have some stuff I like.
Yeah, I've been looking at ordering a couple things from them.
Doing a giant harakiri for the sky back piece though. That's going to be the main one for me.
that tracks.
Yeah,
that's pretty perfect.
Yeah. And then that comes to number 5 for my resolutions, and this is something that I've been toying with doing.
Is this the big tease?
This is the big tease. This is the super secret project I've been working on for the last month. So I've always wanted to talk about metal, write about metal, review metal, interview people, and I've never really gotten to do that except on this show. I've never had my own format for doing that. And I know Sean has the Metal Pigeon, and some of our other friends are metal bloggers as well. And so I finally did it, and I finally created my own site. So HarshVocals.com is where you can go and read my reviews. I do podcasts, I do blogs, I do interviews. I'm doing a podcast with Christian Renner. If you're in the Metal Geeks Facebook group, I'm sure you're familiar with him.
We've had him on the show.
We've had him on the show as well. Yeah. So he and I have done 2 episodes of the Harsh Vocals podcast so far. We did a best of 2023, and then we did an episode where we talked about battle jackets. And the format's basically going to be where we listen to all the music that comes out every week, because we do that anyways. And then every 2 weeks, we're going to convene and bring our 3 favorite albums to discuss. And so we'll play songs from those 6 albums, discuss them, and then we'll also have a topic we talk about at the end of the show. So
that's great because you 2 guys listen to the most albums of anybody that I know. So that's a lot of albums to pick from.
It is. And I think the first 2 episodes turned out great. It was a lot of work. Go check out the site. I mean, you guys are all on your computer. Go to harshvocals.com, take a look at it. It was a lot of work building the site. This is probably the most involved site I've built so far. We have blog posts. We have a couple of reviews up there. And the cool thing that I like about this is that it's not just going to be my site. So any of our friends that are in Metal Geeks, any of our friends that are in the Metal Chat, any of our friends on Facebook that want to write about metal, you're welcome to write and post on my site. I mean, it's not a paid gig or anything, but if you have something you want to say, if you want to talk about albums or find something you truly love and just want to, write a love letter for other metalheads to read, reach out to me. I'll set you up with an account, and you guys can post articles as you want. As I said, it's not just a podcast. The podcast is one aspect of this, but the post and the writing, that's the other side of it. So I'm really excited about it.
I'm super happy for you. This is great news. This brings me up to a project that I've been working on for the past 6 months that we're still trying to get off the ground with a few other people, and I will talk to you about this offline, but I would like to invite you to be a big part of that too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I kind of figured you would.
You know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, for sure.
I gotta give big thanks to Dave though too, because he gave me a great image to use as my profile picture on all the Facebooks and Twitters and Instagrams and everything. And coincidentally, he called it the speaker, and it's basically like a big skull guy with a pentagram in his mouth. It's the perfect fit for a site called Harsh Vocals.
Who did your logo?
That one was a guy on Fiverr. I don't think it's perfect, but I like it for the most part. You got to listen to an episode of the podcast though and hear the intro track we have. That was another guy I found, and holy shit, it's awesome. I really love the intro.
Okay, I will do that.
So,
all right, let's move on to the topic at hand, our 2023 rewind. And since we're talking about metal, let's start with metal. Let's do our top 10. I've done my top 50 or whatever it was on the last episode of MSR Cast. So I'm interested to hear Dave's and George's top albums, really. I know Justin's because he's already posted it, but we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with George. Your top 10 music albums of 2023.
I don't think I have 10.
Did you not prepare?
Well, no, I just didn't have 10 albums to choose from.
Really?
Yeah. So Health.
Well, whatever your top albums are, then.
Health, Rat Wars. I really like that album. The Night Versus album, Every Sound, Color, the whole. I don't remember the whole title.
Mm-hmm.
Soen, the new Soen album. I've listened to that more than I thought I would.
Okay, Memorial, right? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit Adrift, The Ghost at the Gallows.
Mm.
And
that's on my list too.
Joey Valance and Bray. It's a hip hop group called Punk Tactics. Well, the album is called Punk Tactics.
Don't you mean Beastie Boys?
Well, they're very heavily inspired by.
Oh yeah.
And then Host 9. Those are my top albums of
really?
2023.
That makes me happy.
There you go.
I know Spirit Adrift.
I'm glad that I made you happy.
I think Spirit Adrift's the only one.
I know you live to make me happy, so that's okay.
That's exactly it.
What'd you say, Justin? I'm sorry.
I think Spirit Adrift is the only one on there that I actually heard.
Oh, wow. What about you, Dave? Do you have your list?
Yeah, there's actually some surprising similarities between mine and George's.
Oh, wow.
He mentioned a couple that are on my list. So my list
George
was
doesn't
thrown
really
together. My list was thrown together today, based on the. I didn't do all of it today, but I came up with the final countdown today. But basically, what I did was I just grabbed all of the albums that I recognized that I remembered making an impression on me, threw them into a playlist, and then just started weeding it out.
Yeah,
and today I finalized it. Man, making those last few cuts is always hard.
Yeah.
So number 10 for me was Spirit Adrift, Ghost of the Gallows.
No.
Number 9 was Treeglove, The Ritual.
Yeah. That guy's from Croatia. He's a one-man project. It's a fucking awesome album.
It is really good.
It's killer. It's very like melodic black metal ish. It's good. I like that one a lot. Number 8 for me was As in Hell, MP Hora.
No, really?
Yeah. I think a lot of why I like this album is because of who it is. So this is a band that it's a side project for the dude from Volbeat, who I'm like, whatever on Volbeat, they're fine. I like the last time I saw them live,
this
though.
album. That was a good album.
Last time I saw them live, they were really good live, though.
He's not the vocalist, right? He's just a guitar player and songwriter.
In this band, yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, but yeah,
I thought it was the guy from. Is it the guy from Asphyx or?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I was going with the Volbeat connection, though. That's the one that I was familiar with. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of whatever on them, and they're on Volbeat's recordings. But the last time I saw them live, they were really good. And he was wearing a battle vest at that show, and all of the patches on it. I was like, I want to hear the band that sounds like that you're in, because Volbeat doesn't sound like any of those bands. This is that band.
Cool.
As in Hell is his heavy music band. And I like it. It's very thrashy death metal kind of stuff. It was fun, and it stuck with me, so it made the cut. Number 7, Catatonia, Sky Void of Stars. This one was probably just going to end up on the list no matter what, because it's Catatonia, and they end up coming back through for me. They're a favorite of mine. So I never really sat with this album, but I heard all of the songs on it so many times through the year. And I finally got to see them for the first time a couple months ago. And so that was really cool as well. 6 was Cattle Decapitation, Terracite.
It's a fantastic
It surprised the hell out of me.
That is my surprise album of the year too.
Yeah.
I have loosely followed Cattle Decapitation for 20 years ish, and I was really surprised and latched onto this one. There's some really strong tracks on here. Just some brutal drumming, and I don't know this. And some catchy choruses and shit, even too.
Super fucking catchy. It's weird. So, right?
Cattle Decapitation. I feel like I dismissed this album when it first came out. I knew what to expect from Cattle Decapitation, and I think when I first heard it, I was listening to it with those ears. Like, oh, this is just another Cattle Decapitation album. And then towards the end of the year, when we hit that glut in December, where there's just no new music coming out, I went back and started listening to stuff, and this was one that I heard with new ears during that time period. I'd already made my list, so it didn't really make my list, but I really fell in love with it, and I actually ordered the vinyl. It's a fantastic album. If I had spent more time with it through the year, it would definitely have made it higher onto mine.
I totally agree with you there.
Number 5 is Creeping Death, Boundless Domain. They're local, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're from Texas.
I believe they're Dallas. Dallas area.
Yeah,
from Dallas.
There's a show they're going to be playing in Houston as well. Not too far from now that I'm going to be going to.
May 25th with I know In Flames.
Yeah, it's In Flames, Creeping Death, and who was the third band? Gatecreeper.
That's
cool.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's actually the weekend of Comic Palooza, so some of our fellow metal podcasters are maybe going to be attending, and then all of us are going to the show together.
Cool. I could possibly do that. It's not that far. It's in walking distance.
Yeah, I bought my tickets already, so.
All right.
So if you haven't heard Creeping Death, it's very like in the tradition of old school death metal. Very straightforward traditional death metal style, but it is solid.
They are so fun live too. I saw them opening up for with the Carcass earlier in the year. I believe that was the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good fit there. Number 4 was Night Verses. Every Sound Has a Color in the Valley of Night, Part 1.
What he said.
That one.
I didn't hear that album.
I don't think I've heard this. What is this?
Night Verses. I talked about it before.
That's how I found out about it.
And I talked about them when they had an album out a couple of years ago. I think it made my list, but I know I at least talked about it. But yeah, Night Verses is like a instrumental prog band.
Yeah.
And I dig good instrumental music. I think a lot of bands would be served to just forego a vocalist altogether.
I know. George agrees with you there.
A lot of times they're not really adding anything, and they would just I would get more out of it if they would shut up. Night Verses is the kind of music where it's like it's just about the instrumentation. Don't have to worry about that part of it, and this is all noodly, proggy, lots of layers and atmospheres. And the final track on this album features Justin Chancellor, who's the bass player from Tool. So whether that's a selling point for you or not, it
doesn't help me, but that's okay. I'm going to.
It helps me. I like Tool. I'm a fan. I didn't, except for the last album. It was horrible.
Yeah, it really was.
It was bad. Yeah. I waited a long time for an album to be that bad. So yeah, Night Verses, cool stuff. Instrumental prog shit.
Cool.
Number 3 was Enforced War Remains.
Yeah.
This album came out pretty early in the year, and I kept coming back to it just constantly. This is like the best Slayer album that Slayer never put out. It's very much kind of in that genre. Yeah, they don't sound quite like Slayer, but the way
I know exactly.
I have a band on
the
my
way
top
the riffs are written and all of
about.
that. What'd you say?
I have a band on my top 10 list that is just like another band that I could say the same thing about.
Oh, okay.
And Cary King has nothing to do with this band.
This album is just intense, very thrashy stuff, high energy, and just solid riffing all the way through. It stuck with me really well. Number 2, Enslaved, Heimdall. I'm actually surprised this made it as high on my list as it did, because I didn't really sit with this album. But again, I heard all of the parts of it broken up over the year, and I knew every part of it so well that I was like, oh, I actually did really like all of this album in pieces. And
you know my love of Enslaved, right? I love
Me too.
band.
They're one of my favorites. So
you know where this hit on my top 50?
Where?
32.
Yeah.
There was just so much good stuff.
That was a crazy year. Like I could easily make like a top 100 album list. Like, it's just wild how much good stuff came out in 2023.
So Enslaved was again likely to just end up on my list anyway, just because I'm a big fan.
I heard a new song. They just put out a new track already in 2024.
Yeah,
I can't remember the name of it. I just listened to it tonight. Gandhi or something like that. Gandhi.
Yeah, I saw that come out a couple days ago.
It's good.
And my number one, also kind of predictable, but Soen Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Big Soen
like
fan.
Three overlapping albums there. That's surprising.
Yeah, right?
That
George only had like 5.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I told you I was going to keep it hard, guys. I was going for the top 5. I was trying to make it
that Soen tour last year was fucking amazing. I still think about that show.
Yeah, so I have a dream like prog goth metal show lineup, and it turns out I'm just seeing it in pieces. I've got one left to go. My dream lineup was Leprous, Soen, and Catatonia. So
there you go.
I saw Soen December last. I saw Catatonia this previous December. So now this December I need to see Leprous, I guess.
Soen and Leprous are both playing Prog Power. So if you want to go to Atlanta in September, we can go see them.
But it's in Atlanta, though.
Yeah.
that is too far out for me to even think about right now.
I know. All right. Very, very cool. All good choices. And all different than my top 10, which is very surprising. All right, Justin, I know I've seen your list.
Can I mention a couple of honorable mentions before we move on?
Please.
Leper Colony almost made my top 10. Self-titled album. Again, just kind of traditional, polished death metal stuff.
I haven't heard that.
I liked it. I kept coming back to it. Self-titled album by Leper Colony. Black Braid 2. Yes. Again, another one that almost made the top 10. Cary, I also a late cut in my top 10 was No Spoon Opus. You turned me on to that one, and I found that pretty fun.
It's really good, right?
Yeah. The one other one I wanted to mention, because it surprised the shit out of me that I liked it, and then it surprised the shit out of me when I found out who it was, which was Born Through Fire, Purify, and Refine. It's metalcore-y, but it's good enough that I didn't care at all that it was metalcore-like. I was just really enjoying it, and then I found out that it was Tim Lambesis' new band.
Oh.
And I'm like, oof. So I gotta what's interesting though, I haven't really dug into it, but some of the lyrics and stuff in here, I'm like, if there's some genuine expression to this album, the guy is at least dealing with his shit. It seems like. So maybe this is part of therapy for him and he's becoming a better person. I can hope.
Well, but that'd be good.
It's a solid album. I just don't know how much I can get behind it because, Tim Lambesis is an attempted wife murderer. So
I was about to say, yeah.
Or assassin, I guess.
And George likes Austrian Death Machine, so.
Didn't they come out with a new album last week?
Did they really?
Yeah, I tried listening to it. It's not that great.
I didn't know that. All right. Are you good, Dave?
I'm good. Awesome. I'll shut up now.
No, never. Justin,
this is the most I'm going to talk because all the rest of my lists are a lot shorter. So
that's okay. Justin.
Yeah. So,
your turn, please.
If you haven't seen it on Facebook or anywhere else that I posted, you'll be shocked by some of these, but I pretty much posted it everywhere I possibly could. So number 10 for me is King, Fury, and Death. This is the album I was talking about when I interrupted Dave when he was talking about the Slayer-like album. King sounds like classic Immortal if they made an album today and used modern production. It is a love letter to Immortal all the way through. And as you know, Immortal is one of my favorite bands. So this thing just kicks ass. If you like Immortal or like classic frosty, grim black metal at all, you got to check out King, Fury, and Death.
I will have to check that out.
It's really, really good. Triglav, The Ritual, my number 9. That guy, super talented. Both albums that he's released just are amazing. And can't wait to see what he does next because he's only going to get better. Number 8 for me was Moonlight Sorcery, Horned Lord of the Thorned Castle.
Fuck. How did that one slip? Okay, hang on. Late minute adjustment to my list. I can't believe I missed that one. That one is replacing something and is going.
It's your number one.
But no, actually, honestly, it should be like number 2 or number 3. That album kicks ass.
It really does. There's something magical about it. It's super.
It's like symphonic black metal with like mellow deaths, and reminds me of Castlevania.
It sounds like black metal from 1994.
Yeah, it does.
It's awesome.
So, like last year, we talked about the Stormkeep album at the end of the year because it had really just kind of dominated a lot of people's lists. And I think they started a movement where that classic black metal sound with good production is kind of coming into, the modern era. So like Stormkeep, Moonlight Sorcery, those are two people that are in that group. Another one's Bloodman. He just released an EP that's just fucking phenomenal. But Moonlight Sorcery, Horned Lord and Thorn Castle, it's a magical album full of, soaring guitars and great riffs. And it's one of the most fun black metal albums I've heard in a long time. Highly, highly recommended. Number 7 for me is...
Man, I can't believe I missed that.
Number 7 for me is the first of 4 French black metal bands on my top 10. It was it was a crazy year for French black metal because I think I have 6 or 7 more in my 25 through 50 list. They're dominating, and it's crazy. Like the best black metal is not coming out of Norway or Finland or Sweden or anywhere except for France these days. And I love all of it. It's so fucking good. So number 7 was Moonreich, A Mare. Heard this one back in January. It was a constant playthrough of the entire year. I probably heard the album over 100 times. Just could not get enough of it. It's very melodic black metal with a lot of raw emotion built into it. It kind of reminds me of what Cary does, where I love that passion of the vocalist built into these incredible melodies. And it's a great album that slipped under everybody's radar somehow. I'm not sure how or why. Moonreich's put out, I think, 4 albums so far, and the other ones weren't that good. So they've definitely had a huge leap in quality between their last album and this one. I love this album, and I'll tell anybody who will listen. Number 6 was a band called Aeodon. They did an album called Portraits. They're another French black metal band. They did a concept album. So this one's all about 9 individual people that some of them are based on real people. Some of them are based on fictitious characters. And it's all about their downfalls, basically. Like, so every single song has really high highs and really low lows. And it's kind of a unique concept album because I haven't heard an album where every single song has highs and lows like that in relatively short tracks. I mean, the songs are like 4 or 5 minutes. They're not, long form 24-minute songs like Bell Witch or something. So I can't get enough of Aeodon Portraits. It's very beautiful. Just a beautiful album. Number 5 is one that probably the only one probably that Cary and I share. Fires in the Distance, Air Not Meant for Us. I'm not a huge Doom guy, that, but I'd say that this is more mellow Doom than mellow death.
Yeah.
And the very first time I heard it, I said, "What is this?" And then I was turned on to it. Couldn't turn myself off from it.
I really like their last album too, but yeah, it's like the perfect blend of mellow doom and like the way they use a piano. Mm-hmm. It's not an accent; it's an actual instrument in the band, and it's just a perfect blend. And the guitar tone and the riffs are just amazing on this album.
This is another one that's just really pretty the whole way through. And
and the album's so good, they did an instrumental version of it too.
Yep. I couldn't get enough of it. I bought this one on vinyl as well. Actually, I bought everything in my top 10 on vinyl this year. That's how good they all were. So definitely check out Fires in the Distance if you haven't yet. Number 4 is Inherits the Void, The Impending Fall of the Stars. This is another one-man black metal project, but arguably the best one that's out there. This guy is insanely talented. It kind of sounds like the old style In Flames, if In Flames was a black metal band. It has like a Gothenburg black metal feel to it. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it is just fantastic. If you
know the best thing about these one-man projects,
they can do whatever they want.
No inner band turmoil.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, that's horseshit. As a creative myself, I can assure you he's got tons of content.
You're probably right.
Yeah, probably so. But I can't say enough good things about Inherits the Void. They have
I have to check that one out. I haven't heard it yet.
You absolutely have to. I think all of you would enjoy it. I think George might even enjoy it. The vocals aren't so bad that he would be turned off, maybe. Number 3 is a band that we made fun of last year, Sado Misery. I know that I posted them as, good album with a bad band name in our group chat.
There's some like that, for sure.
So Sado Misery is pretty terrible for a band name, but they're phenomenal musicians. And when their last album came out, there were parts of it that I thought were really masterful, but it wasn't quite a good enough album to make anywhere near my end of year list. This one, however, Mazaroth, holy shit, it might be the best death metal album of the year. And that's saying something considering all the bands we've talked about already. Have you listened to this one, Cary or Dave?
I have not. I need to.
I'd be really interested to hear your opinions on it. A lot of metal sites swooped in at the end of the year and added to their top 10 lists. And
where are they from?
They're American. They're American. I think they're North Carolina.
Okay.
I was trying to find them, and I think I must have typed something wrong. What is the name of
the band? Is Sado Misery, Sodomisery, and the name of the album is Mazaroth.
Gotcha. Okay, I got it.
It's really, really good. I think you guys will both dig it.
I will definitely check it out.
Number 2 is the only German black metal band that made my top 10. This is a band called Permutation. The album's called Transience. This is their debut album. It's a duo. It sounds like this is their 7th or 8th album. The production value is so high. The technical aspects are just incredible.
If I'd spent more time with this album, it might have made my list. I remember it being really good.
From the first time I heard it, I was hooked. It's got tons of catchy melodies, really strong riffing, just everything about it I like. Plus, they seem to be super nice guys, because when I bought the album, they sent me like a personalized thank you. And
what's the name of the band again? One more time?
Permutation.
How do you spell that?
Permutation.
Gotcha.
And the album's Transience. And I think it's kind of one of those like gateway albums where, if you don't really like hard music, you could listen to this one and kind of ease your way into it a little bit. It's something that has a lot more mass appeal than just the guy who likes black metal listening to it. However, my number 1 is not. My number 1 is strictly for fans of melodic black metal and real melodic black metal. Band's called Penitence Honorique, and the album is called Nature Morte. These guys are French as well, if you couldn't tell.
I think I gathered that from
the holy shit. I don't even really know what to say about this album because it's so hard to define. I'm still hearing new things every time I listen to it, and I probably played it 45, 50 times at this point. It's such a unique black metal album, even from all the stuff that comes out today and all the stuff I listen to. I'm just mesmerized by it, and I really hope these guys stay together, and I really hope they make more albums, because this is damn near a masterpiece. So check it out if you like the kind of music I like. If not, it's probably not for you. George won't like this one.
George won't like it. Do you have any honorable mentions you wanted to discuss?
I do, real quick. So I got to give an honorable mention to Cloak, because I know a lot of people seem like this is the year they discovered Cloak, and I've been talking about him since like 2018. Their new album is fantastic. It ended up number 12 on my list. Same thing with Mepharash. When Shimha Mepharash came out, they were like my number 2. I raved about Mepharash. Their new album Crystal Law came out, and it is.
I think they make a powder for that.
It is just as good as the first album was, and I saw it on a bunch of end of year lists. So they're finally getting some respect. They're a Swedish black metal band. Huge fan of Mepharash. If you haven't checked them out and you like my kind of music, again, they're one you should. And then number 11 was Imperium Decadence. They're one of the best duos making black metal. Their stuff's just so beautiful and intense and melodic.
Doesn't their name have a Z in it?
It does. It's Imperium Decadence. But yeah, they're really good.
I didn't listen to the new album. I need to check that out.
I got a couple more that didn't even make my top 30 that I just want to toss out because of Cattle Decapitation's Terracide. I said, well, maybe there were other death metal bands I didn't give a fair shot to. So I went back and I listened to Tomb Mold's new album. It's really good as well. I went back and I listened to the album called Sworn, or the band called Sworn. They're a Swedish melodic death metal band with Blackened influences. Really loved their last album. And then the only other 2 that I wanted to mention was a band called Majesties, which is like a Gothenburg sounding melodic death metal band, but it would have made it on my list. I know Sean had it in his top 10, except
I was about to say that was like really high.
The production value is just shit on that album. Unfortunately, the vocals are so far in the back. If things had been mixed better, this definitely would have made my top 30.
I definitely
maybe it was on purpose because they were like, we don't like the way he sounds. We're just gonna put his vocals all the way in the back.
I had a few albums on my list that were like that. The new And Oceans. If the production was better, it would have been definitely higher on my list.
Yeah, And Oceans was my number 22. I thought it was a great album, but it was mixed poorly.
It's my number 20.
Yeah, and then the very last one is one that I discovered well into January. It's a black metal project from Slovakia. The band's called Strayhor. If I had heard this,
would you call me
Strahor? If I had found this earlier in the year, it definitely would have made my top 30 list. It's just really good. I've come back to it a bunch of times this month, but what can you do when you find it late, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to do mine real quick because I got really in depth on these on the last episode of MSRcast. So I'm going to just do my top 10 real quick. My number 10 is Shores of Null, The Loss of Beauty, who are now on the 70K coming up next week. I would love to see them live. One big surprise for me this year, one of my fave Goth Doom albums of the year. It's like a doomier Alice in Chains meets Paradise Lost. Really like it. Number 9 for me was one of my couple of prog bands on my top 10, Riverside, ID Entity. Such a catchy album. I'm really late to the game on this band, but I really love this new album. Number 8 for me is a band that I interviewed on MSRcast early in the year. Next, Krigsgrav, Fires in the Fall.
Yeah, Krigsgrav made my top 30. They're fantastic. It's a great album.
Yeah,
there's just so much good stuff. Like,
yeah, it was just one of my favorite discoveries of the year. You know, when you put something on and you're immediately drawn into it, and I love this album so much. Number 7 for me is On Thorns I Lay, the self-titled album. Another heavy, brutal death doom album. Killer production, catchy choruses, everything about it I love. Number 6 for me was an Austin band that's really blowing up, Hinayana, Shatter and Fall. I saw them last year and they were great. If you like Wolfheart, you're going to love this band. And they even had Tomas from Wolfheart on one of their songs, so makes sense. Number 5 for me was No Spoon, Opus. That's apparently how you pronounce it. That's how they said it on an interview on the Metal Exchange podcast. And I take their word for it since it's their band.
That's what those
They're
symbols
wrong.
over the letters mean.
No Spoon.
It's what it looks like.
I know. One of the best prog metal albums. I mean, one of the best albums of this past year. It's so catchy, so memorable. There's lots of killer melodies and just elements and melody are in the entire album. They have elements in the beginning of one of the songs and they revisit later in the album that just impresses the hell out of me. Great album. Number 4 for me with Fires in the Distance, Air Not Meant for Us.
So good.
What more can we say? We already talked about it. And if George doesn't like the vocals, listen to the instrumental.
Actually, I think George might like Fires in the Distance. You guys should do that for George Hates Metal.
Yeah. Number 3 for me was sort of a duo. It's Insomnium Anno 1696 with Songs of the Dusk, because they wrote them all together and they sort of go together.
I don't know what's going on with Insomnia, man. Like, the last few albums I just have not been able to connect to. Winter's Gate blew me away. Everything after that, I've been really like lukewarm on all of it.
That's because it was so cold. And
maybe that's what it was.
I don't know. You and the Metal Pigeon have the same opinion, because he didn't really dig it that much either. But that's okay. Everybody has their own opinions.
I liked Heart by Like a Grave, not as much as like Winter's Gate and Shadows, but I did like it. But I had trouble getting into this one.
Really?
Basically everything since Heart Like a Grave, I've had a little bit of trouble.
I think the title track for Heart Like a Grave is fucking masterpiece, but the rest of the album's kind of lukewarm.
Maybe they're just like single guys now. They just make good singles.
Maybe
that's how they're lukewarm, because they're inside of a tauntaun. I don't know. Come up with that Star Wars Hoth joke.
But
and I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
Hey,
what, the joke?
Exactly. No, the tauntauns.
Oh yeah.
Number 2 for me was Host 9. I don't know how many times I listened to this album. It was my happy place in 2023. If you don't know who Host is, it's basically 2 members from Paradise Lost, and it's their Depeche Mode loving tribute. They did an album in the 90s called Host.
I thought Paradise Lost was their Depeche.
No. Well, they had eras of Depeche Mode loving. This and this is.
I know, I kid.
It's fine. You kid. I really love this album so much, and Tomorrow's Sky is probably my most played song of the year. Number 1 for me is another prog metal band who I'm excited to see in just a few weeks, and that's Haken, Fauna. Phenomenal album. I just love everything about this album, and my number 1 song of the year was The Alphabet of Me from this album. Can't say more about it. I cannot wait to see them again live. They were one of the last bands that we saw right before COVID hit.
Yep.
And they were phenomenal.
Open for Heavy Devy.
Yep, for Devin. And
they were really good, too.
Yeah. And the show they're doing in February, it's a night with Haken, so there's no other bands. And they're playing the new album in its entirety, and they're going to do another set with other tracks. So it's going to be fun. But there you go. And if you want to hear the rest of my list, I'm going to actually post it on the Metal Geek Society pretty soon. But the latest episode of MSRcast, we really go in depth. So, I want to get into video games really quick, because I know I have probably more than you guys. But then, did you guys pick any of your top games of the past year?
Yeah, I got mine written down.
Yes,
I got mine as well.
All right,
we come prepared.
I only played 3 games this year, so
okay. I have more than 3 on my list.
Wow, I have more games than George. What's going on?
George, you have 3. Let's go with you.
Let's go with that. Starting from the bottom, Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Yeah,
it's one of the best games of the year.
I agree.
And Star Wars Jedi Survivor is my number 2, and number 1 with the bullet, Spider-Man number 2.
All right, I can dig what you're throwing down.
You pick
all
it up
good games.
Top and down.
I can dig it. I played all 3 of those games to completion.
You play every game. That
is not true.
He plays a lot of games.
That is not true. I do play a lot of games, but
in comparison of anyone else I know.
All right, well,
you play the most games.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take it, but I don't play every game. What about you, Dave? What's your tops?
So, I've played 2 new games this year, if you count a remaster as a new game.
I have some remasters, but they're in my honorable mentions because I can't make them in my top, you know?
They released the enhanced version of Quake 2 at QuakeCon last year, and I played it. There is new content for it, but it was fun. Other than that, the only new game that I've played this year is Cult of the Lamb, and it's incredible. And I was late coming to that one, but yeah.
I see your little notification all the time on Steam when you start to play it.
I often leave it running during the day. So that if I grab a couple, it's not actively running. Like I'll leave it like paused, but I leave it running so that if I can grab a couple of minutes and just check in and like, clean up my farm and, put out a couple decorations and then pause and go back about my day. It's just kind of like a little, it's easy. One of the things I like about it is it's easy to kind of like drop in and out of.
Yeah. Isn't there like a sex DLC coming out where you can have sex with your followers?
It's out.
Is it out?
George's like, I've been fucking my followers.
You make your followers. You pick which ones you want to go into.
So now it's like a dating sim.
And if they are a successful match, they will create a new cultist for you.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a bunch of other new stuff they added as well. If you haven't played it in a little while,
I haven't played the DLC yet.
I haven't played any of the DLC.
Okay, they added the blunderbuss as one of the weapon options.
What is that?
It's a gun. It's a
really?
It's like a flint. A blunderbuss is like a flintlock shotgun, basically.
Oh, okay.
And it's a little bit different, but I like what it adds to the game. So
okay, I'm down with that.
But there's a bunch of new stuff, that new content that came out last week. There's a lot to it. So
I have it on Game Pass, and Kim has it on her Switch, so we'll have to play it. All right, what about you, Justin? What's your top games of 2023?
Well, mine may not have all come out in 2023, but these are all the games that I played this year. So number one was Elden Ring. I fell in love with Elden Ring at the end of last year and continued playing it all throughout the first 6 months of this year. It's just such a cool world. I know we did that one episode with Lepoli, and she talked a lot about it. It's everything she said is true. I fell in love with Elden Ring. I bought the record. I bought the art book.
and the sex toy.
Yes, I'm all about Elden Ring right now. So played Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Haven't devoted as much time to it as I wanted to.
So Phantom Liberty, that's the DLC that they've sort of like redesigned a lot of the game.
They redesigned,
but they also like redesigned the original game too.
Yeah, they did.
Like they just did a top bottom rebuild.
Yeah. I haven't played it in a long time. I'll be honest with you.
It's actually insane. Some of the things that you can do now in the game that you couldn't do before. Everything just feels.
What I've read is that it's worth starting a new save if you haven't.
It is. Everything just feels so much more fast paced. Combat's really fluid.
Is Phantom Liberty a free update, or do you?
I think it's $30, but it goes on sale all the time, depending on what platform you're on. Like I said, I haven't gotten too far into it just because time constraints. But what I have played, I've enjoyed, and ever since the main storyline update, the game's just incredible. I already loved it before then, so I like it even more now. Number 3 for me was Vampire Survivors. It's just a real fun, easy to pick up game that you can just play in your spare time. It's something I go back to.
There's a bunch of that's the new game style. Apparently there's a bunch of new games like that.
Vampire Survivors is just really fun. Great way to kill time. That's mostly what it is.
Talk about looking like Castlevania.
Yeah. Number 4 for me was Diablo 4. I put a ton of time in Diablo 4 when it first came out. I played all of season 1. I skipped.
We got to play together.
Yeah, we did. We played a little bit. Yeah. I skipped season 2. Christian really wants me to get back in for season 3, so I probably will.
Season 3 just came out, right?
It's a big time sink. So
there's seasons in Diablo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they add new villains and new
fall, winter, summer.
Yeah, new seasons, new ways, new and interesting ways to enhance your characters and stuff. And like you basically have to start over at level 1 when the new season drops, and then any special gear or anything will transfer over.
It carries over to your
legacy server when you're done.
It's very interesting how they do that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Diablo 4. It's really good. It's a lot better than 3 was, in my opinion. Number 5 is Starfield. I beat Starfield twice. Saw a couple of different endings. It's not the best Bethesda game, but there's a lot of really cool stuff in it. And the twist and the storyline I thought was really well done. And I like the fact that you're in a multiverse, so every time you restart it, you get a completely different universe with completely different, characters and,
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I mean, it's a spoiler alert, but we're a year out from it at this point.
I tried. I couldn't get into it. It was just. I'm not. Bethesda games are not.
Yeah, there's
jam.
Like
it's okay.
25, I think, different possible restarts. And so some people have been trying to get them all. I've seen some where like you come back and every single human has been turned into a plant. I've seen some where like you come back and instead of being a human, you're like one of the Starborn people. There's just a lot of different ones, and I think that's a really cool concept. Some work better than others. Like I said, I only beat it twice, so I could see the different storylines. But Starfield's fun if you like Bethesda games. Number 6 was Metal Hellsinger. I played a lot of that off and on throughout the year. It's just a really fun rhythm /shooter game. Very unique. But if you like metal, you'll enjoy it because it's really easy to get wrapped up in what's going on. And then number 7 was Stray. It's an older game, but I finally got around to beating it.
I beat that game, yeah.
Kind of sad.
My kids just started playing that.
It's cute.
It's cute. It's a good game. The storyline's just really sad. So,
yeah.
But it was good. I enjoyed it. And that's it for my games.
Very cool. Let me get into mine real quick. I have a couple of honorable mentions. Like I said, these are all sort of remasters or remakes, so it's hard to make them in my top. But Resident Evil 4, they top to bottom redesigned that game, and it's so good. Metroid Prime Remastered, love that game. I love the Metroid Prime series. I
didn't know they had done that.
Yeah, there's just the first one so far. 2 and 3
that was
have
a great fucking game. The first Metroid Prime was fucking awesome.
Still holds up like majorly. If you have a Switch, highly recommend picking that up. And then my other honorable mention is The Last of Us Part 1 remaster, complete from the ground up redo of the game, not just like updating the sprites or whatever. It's an amazing version. I know Last of Us Part 2 just came out, remaster of that. But they didn't build it from the ground up like they did in Part 1. It's just a better looking version of it, and some new stuff. There's a couple new modes and things like that. But all right, my number 15. I'm going to do my top 15. We'll go quick.
Okay.
My number 15 is Dr. Fetus's Mean Meat Machine. I made you play this, didn't I, Dave?
Yeah, I've got it on my wish list. I'm going to wait for it to be like super duper cheap. It is not reviewed well on Steam.
But I love it so much. It's the Meat Boy universe, but it's like a puzzle game. It gets fucking difficult. I will tell you that much. Number 14 for me is Hi-Fi Rush. Now this is a rhythm-based action platformer game, and it's so well done. It's a narrative-driven game. It's just one of my favorites. It was a big surprise. It was like they announced it like on like some Xbox show, and then surprise, it's available now for free on Game Pass, and it's amazing. If you have Game Pass, check it out. What am I at? I have these. It's like weird.
I think you're on 12.
13. No. Number 1. Number 13 is Blasphemous 2, which is another Metroidvania game in the style of Dark Souls. So it's very difficult, but it's just a gothic, evil looking game, and it's just so much fun. Fighting a lot of demons and all kinds of cool stuff. Number 12 now for me is Diablo 4. I haven't completed the game yet because I went off and did like one of the seasons, but it's just like you said, it's so much time devoted to that game. Mm-hmm. I just don't have it right now. And then I have Dave the Diver, not you, Dave, but the Diver Dave. Now this is a really interesting indie game. You actually get to go diving off your ship to find different special items, and you find fish. And then once you get all the different fish and blah, 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 you go back up to your ship, and then it turns into a food serving game where you're working in a restaurant. You have to serve the food to people, but it's really well done.
This sounds like a mess, but
It's
like,
not.
I've been keeping an eye sort of on it since it came out, and like the reviews for it on Steam like are fantastic. Like
there's some weird elements to it. I don't want to spoil a lot, but there's a lot of, you might be fighting some deep sea monsters and some mythological shit. Yeah, very cosmic in a way. That's all I can say. I don't want to spoil too much. And
speaking in code,
yeah. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania. I'm a huge fan of Dead Cells already, but they combined it with the Castlevania universe, like music and enemies and levels based on Castlevania. Fucking sold. It's great. Pikmin 4. Amazing fucking game. I loved all the Pikmin series. It's just a lot of fun, and they've really dialed it up on this one. It's really cool. There's multiple different characters you get to play. I don't think it's multiplayer, which would be fun. I'm waiting for that. Disney Illusion Island. I'm surprised George didn't play this one.
No, I didn't.
It's a non-combative Metroidvania game, but with Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and Donald, and it's more of an exploration game than anything, but it's so well done. You don't fight any...
I think I stayed away from it because the reviews for it wasn't so hot.
Well, you can't believe all the reviews. So number 5 for me, we're at number 5, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Phenomenal game. George already mentioned it. It's just one of the best looking Switch games out there, but it's not my favorite Mario game. I will say that. Number 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Played the hell out of this game, beat this game. Fucking phenomenal. Number 3 for me is a game that I'm surprised that Dave didn't mention. That's Mighty Doom. How many hours I played into this game, it had to make my list.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I played a shit ton of that game too, but I completely fell off of it.
Did you? I'm still playing it. I'm still trying to beat level 20 or whatever it is. Number 2 for me is a game that I'm going back to. I haven't completed yet, but I want to play a lot more of it. It's Alan Wake 2. Just an amazing game. If you like weird detective games, this game is made for you. It's such a beautiful looking game too. It's really, really amazing.
It's from the people that made Max Payne, right?
It is. Yeah. It's Remedy. They did Max Payne. They did Alan Wake 1, if you haven't played that. They did Control, which apparently that game Control is in the same universe as Alan Wake.
I tried playing Control. I couldn't get into it.
It was not my favorite, for sure. What I like about Alan Wake 2 is like you start the game with you're in a different character. You're in a detective, and you actually get to go into her mind and look at and find clues and try to figure things out. It's really well done. It shouldn't work, but it really does. And number 1 for me is a game that George has already mentioned. That was Spider-Man 2. Yeah, that game is just so good. I wish there was more DLC already because I want to play more of it already.
Are they going to do DLC? I didn't hear about any DLC.
They are, yeah. There's supposed to be some DLC coming out sometime soon. Yeah. I don't remember what it is, but I know they mentioned that there is. And that's it. That's it for me. I played some other games, but we're not gonna go there right now. Does anybody have any books or comic books on their list that they wanted to mention?
Nothing new.
Nope.
No.
I have 3. I want to say that the Star Wars Marvel series is still really good. Been reading that. There's a second volume of it already. Kevin Smith has been doing these quick stop comics. So it's taking characters from the different VSQ universe and doing stories on them.
That's cool.
It's pretty fun. And my book of the year is My Effin' Life from Geddy Lee. I listened to the audio book of that, and I have the physical book as well. But man, I recommend you listen to Geddy talk about his life, and it's worth the price of admission to hear Geddy Lee talk like an old Jewish woman. It's phenomenal. It's really one of the best books I've heard in a long time. The first 2 or 3 hours of it It's all about his family's experience in World War II and the concentration camps, and his parents actually met in a concentration camp. Just a phenomenal story.
Interesting.
It means a lot. Yeah, it's really, really good. All right.
Man, talk about trauma bonding.
Yeah, for real, dude. I recommend anybody, even if you're not a fan of Rush, listen to the first 3 or 4 chapters of this book. It's amazing. It's really, really, really worth it. Do you guys want to do movies or TV?
Do movies.
I'm going to let George pick.
Let George pick, yeah.
Well, let's go for movies. Go for the jugular.
We're going to go straight for the jugular? Okay, fine. Since
this one, I actually picked 10 for this one.
George is our resident movie snob.
Snob? So, that's just so fucking rude.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
it's rude. Rude.
You just didn't like the female Ghostbusters, and he's never going to let you live it down, George.
Well, I mean, it wasn't right, so funny nor good.
I'm going to say aficionado. Let's go there. Let's go. Start with you.
With me,
yeah, sure.
I will start from the bottom and work my way up to 1.
That's what she said.
Here we go. Number 10, Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem.
Oh yeah, that was good.
I liked it a lot. I think it did a lot for the Ninja Turtle fandom and pushed animation in a fun, weird way, and I enjoyed it.
That Spider-Verse style is becoming, which I love. They used a lot in that movie too, which is cool.
Yeah, they used it as a basis, but they also kind of put their own spin on it by grungifying it all up. It reminded me a lot of like old school Nickelodeon cartoons.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun movie.
Okay.
Number 9, we got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. This was unfortunately always going to make my lists. I know it has its problems, and I know people don't love this movie, but
I like this movie.
I
don't love it, but I
can
like
shove
it.
That's all I can say.
Who, me?
Take that whip and shove it up your ass.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it a lot, but I don't think it was in my top 10. But
yeah, I understand. Like it probably doesn't deserve to be in my top 10, but I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, and it's going to be
what?
There.
I had no idea.
Yeah. It's right
there.
There we go. Anyway, number 8, No One Will Save You. It was a Hulu original, a Fox Searchlight movie. It was great. It was about a girl who has to survive alien encounter, and
I think
she doesn't speak a lick of dialogue throughout the whole movie, which I think is awesome.
I think the concept is awesome. I think the execution was a little bit lacking. Like, I loved the first half of the movie, but the second half, especially the ending, I was not happy with at all.
No spoilers. I have not seen it.
I loved it through and through. I don't think there was a part of that movie that I didn't really enjoy. Number what was that? 8, 9, 8, 8? Yeah, that was 8. Number 7, Talk to Me.
Great movie.
We are right now.
Yeah, so it's a great horror movie. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out.
Is this the one about the hand?
Yes.
It's
talk
like where
talk to the hand. Is that what it's about?
They invite demons in, and it becomes like a party thing, and things get out of hand.
Teenagers fooling around with the occult. I mean, they're holding hands with this thing, and then inviting a demon inside of them to communicate with the other people at the party, and it gets out of hand, as you expect it to.
That's not going to go well.
No.
I haven't seen it.
It was actually written by a couple of Australian podcasters, YouTubers. Yeah. It's a really good movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite horror movies in a while. I don't think I've liked a horror movie this much since.
Is that streaming somewhere that I could watch?
It should be on Paramount.
Yeah,
Plus
I think it is on Paramount or Showtime.
Okay.
It was the second best horror movie of the year, in my opinion.
Okay.
I have another one, but I haven't seen one that I wanted to see. There's a lot of holes in my list because I haven't seen any new movies in the last 3 months, with the exception of one. So bear with me, I guess. What was that? Number 7, number 6, John Wick 4. I mean, it's the action movie to end the John Wick franchise. I don't think anybody can John Wick more than John Wick 4.
Yeah,
I mean, it was about 40 minutes too long, so yeah, nobody can John Wick more than John Wick 4.
Exactly. I really enjoyed it. There was some really cool, inventive stuff, and I'm glad that this is the end, and no one could do it better than they did.
It's not the end. What are you talking about? They're going to do another one with him.
He died.
It doesn't matter. Prequel.
He's
Come
the
on.
boogeyman.
Well,
right?
they are doing a prequel. They are doing a prequel called The Ballerina.
Yeah.
Didn't they do a TV series too?
Yeah, they did, but it's terrible.
That has like Mel Gibson, who I refuse to watch that.
It does?
Yeah.
That's weird. I
didn't know that
either.
All right, so number 5, I have Barbie. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's funny as shit. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Number 4, I have Oppenheimer. Everyone's just quickly turned their face sour.
No, not at all. You mean the critical darling Oppenheimer, which is so weird?
I like.
Well, it's
winning every fucking.
It's a great
award.
movie. It's a very thought-provoking movie. I probably think this is Nolan's 3rd best movie he's ever made.
Dave and I saw it in the theater together, and it was a great experience. Yeah,
I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched it on demand at home way after it came out because it is hard to get to the theaters. And I liked it. You know, I don't think that it had the same punch that a lot of Nolan movies do, but again, that could just be because I watched it at home. So I mean, it was a good movie, but I wouldn't say it was a great movie, and it didn't make my top 10.
Well, also, this list would change if I had seen everything I wanted to see.
There's a ton of stuff I didn't get to see either, too. I mean, it was just so hard this year.
Yeah. And then number 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's really awesome. The only reason why it isn't higher on my list is because it ended on a cliffhanger. If it didn't, I probably would have been a lot more happier with it. Number 2, Godzilla -1. This is the only newest movie I've seen recently, and holy shit, was this a great movie.
It's a fantastic movie. Yep.
If you ever liked kaiju or Godzilla movies, this is the best one by far in a very, very long time.
So that's your number 2. Now I really want to know.
Did you see Poor Things somehow?
I did not see Poor Things.
I have not yet. I know if I saw that, it would be on my list.
And my number 1 is Killers of the Flower Moon. It is fantastic. I loved it. Scorsese knocked it out of the park. Lily Gladstone is tour de force. Robert De Niro killed it in this movie. I think I've never seen Robert De Niro act better.
I'd agree with that. This is another one that I saw at home that, again, I think if I'd seen it in the theater, it would have been good enough maybe to make my top 10, but it just fell outside of it.
I think I was like one of 3 people in the theater who saw this because it wasn't in theater for very long, at least at my movie theater.
It was for a while.
Not
it's now streaming. Theater. It's now finally streaming on Apple Plus.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
Apple TV.
It's a good movie.
I loved it.
It's like
What, 3.5 hours, I think, something like that. Mm-hmm. But that time just went by like
it
that.
Didn't feel like it was 3.5 hours.
No, not at all. And then like also the ending, like really like to me is like a punch in the gut. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's like Scorsese saying goodbye in a weird way and it's just weird to watch.
Do you have a biggest disappointment of a movie?
Yeah, I got.
Is it Maestro? Please tell me it's Maestro.
I have some honorable mentions, and then I have biggest disappointments of the year.
I bet I can guess one of your biggest disappointments. It's probably one of mine.
I probably not.
Oh.
Honorable mentions. I'll go from the bottom and work my way up. Number, what is it? 6? Nimona, which was an animated movie on Netflix. I don't think anybody watched it.
No.
But it's pretty great. It's awesome. It's cute. It's funny. With the animation's great. Number 5, Bottoms. Funny as shit. Probably one of the funnier movies of this year. It's definitely like a millennial, or not millennial.
Generation Z.
What's the one after millennial? Yeah, like a Gen Z comedy for sure. But it has like, if Scream was a hard-hitting comedy, it has those kind of vibes to it.
I still need to watch it.
Okay.
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Beautiful film. I didn't think Benny Safdie could actually act till I saw this movie. So congratulations, the dude can actually act. And he's a writer, director, and actor.
He did Uncut Gems, right?
Yes.
Yes, him and his brother.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Number 3, I have Beau is Afraid. I was very hesitant about putting this on my list, anywhere on my list, because really that last hour of the movie is like rough to watch. It's a little slow and doesn't make sense a lot of the times. But that first hour and like 45 minutes is like
You're on the edge of your seat. It's so good.
It's masterpiece filmmaking.
Ari Aster's super talented, and like he gets to that hour 45-minute mark, and he has a choice to make. He can either make a serious, horrible horror movie, or he can go the complete slapstick comedy route. And he kind of veers towards slapstick comedy.
He tries to do both, which is weird.
Yeah, he does waffle a little bit there. But I think there was a better movie there if he had just done the serious route.
The last 20 minutes are just so baffling. I wish we can all watch it together is what I want. Because I want to see your face.
We talked about this last time.
I haven't seen it.
When certain scenes come on, I want to see your
I want to
faces.
see what Dave's reaction is to watching this movie.
Is it streaming somewhere?
It's on Paramount Plus.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could do a live tweet watch of it. I would love to do that.
Can't you do a party share on that that platform, or like
you can do that on Amazon Prime, but I don't know if you can do that on Paramount.
Okay. I know Disney Plus you can do that, but
and then my last two honorable mentions is The Killer, which is David Fincher's new film on Netflix.
I still haven't watched that. I want to.
Yeah, don't worry, nobody did because it's on Netflix.
Yeah,
so don't feel
I
bad.
watched it,
but it's amazing. It's David Fincher like back in David Fincher mode, no longer doing those crazy stupid art pieces, whatever the fuck he was doing with that last movie he did.
Like I thought it was really, really well done, and it feels like a Fincher movie. I just feel like the ending was kind of meh, but
Michael Fassbender, right?
Yeah. I think it was very fitting. It reminds me a lot of what's that movie he did with Jodie Foster, where they're like trapped in a safe.
It was a Safe Room, isn't it?
Is it Safe Room? Is that what it's Panic Room? There you go. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of that movie, at least as far as like how tight and stylized it
all
is.
the stuff with Fassbender, like that whole first 30 minutes where he's waiting in that building was just so fucking good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just the ending kind of fell a little short for me. Otherwise, it would probably be on my list.
Yeah. And then lastly, my last honorable mention, because I watched it recently on Prime, was Saltburn. Everyone on this movie is just firing.
I have not watched it yet. I know that.
I fucking love this movie.
This movie is great. Like, I don't think it's like the best movie of the year. I'm not gonna go that far, but Barry Keoghan, fucking, it's awesome. Knocks it out of the park.
It's a cultural phenomenon, and it's so weird that this kind of movie with this sort of weird shit in it is a cultural phenomenon because all over the internet, people are like sitting down for Christmas time and they're like, well, there's nothing new out. Let's watch this movie. And they're sitting around with their families and like,
it's the worst movie to watch with your family.
Like for 2 weeks, that's all I saw on the internet was people talking about, oh my God, I can't believe I watched this with my mom. Or like, my dad got up and left the room. Like
all I know is that there's a bathtub scene.
That's not even the worst scene in the movie.
Even the worst part.
Are you okay?
To me, if you ever seen Call Me by Your Name and Talented Mr. Ripley, and if you mix those two movies together, that's exactly what this movie is.
Okay.
See, for me,
I still want to watch
my analogy for it is that it's Cruel Intentions meets American Psycho.
I can see that too. Yeah, very much.
It's really good.
I really enjoyed it. I think the the third act turn in this movie is just a piece of brilliance, and I think it's really fun.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you didn't mention The Holdovers.
That
was going to make it on my honorable mentions, but there was some other stuff, and I didn't want
I watched
it too.
Yeah. It was fine.
It was.
I mean,
Paul Giamatti was awesome in it. Giamatti's
the best part. Always good in everything. I don't know. It was okay.
I liked how it looked like
I wanted to.
A 70s movie.
Yeah. It reminds me of like the Holdovers is like a warm sweater on a cold day.
Yeah. It was fine.
It's comfortable and cozy.
I like to freeze.
All right, Dave, do you want to go next, please?
So usually on these, I try to see if I can put together a list of 10 movies that I've seen this year that are like new movies.
Yeah.
I usually can't fill a list of 10. I actually saw 16 new movies this year.
Oh, that's great.
It's
you
just
you want to do all 16?
I mean, I guess I can run through the list, but I was, so that means when I make a top 10, it's kind of like, these are just some of the movies that I saw. I'll go through the list. No
particular order.
I mean, my favorites are my favorites, but so I'll go through the 10 lists, and I can talk about the other ones if you want as well. So number 10 for me was Cocaine Bear.
Was that this year?
Yeah, it was this year.
Yeah, it was early this year. I guess I looked it up.
Felt like so long ago, but yeah, that's funny.
It was stupid and fun. Yeah. It delivered exactly what it promised, so I was happy. Then number 9 was We Have a Ghost. I don't know if anybody watched that.
I did watch that.
Like, it's not great, but it was good enough. It was
that
fun.
was the Netflix. It was like
yeah, it's David Harbour as a ghost in like a
right.
Okay, yeah, I
the
saw
house.
that too. I couldn't think of the name, but yeah, I saw that.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Pretty fun.
It was a fun movie.
Yeah. Then was Haunted Mansion, which also not a great movie, but it's on here because it's Haunted Mansion.
I was so underwhelmed.
I'm the target demographic for a Haunted Mansion movie. It could have been better. It was way better than what we had before.
It could have been better, and it could have been worse.
Yeah, it has been worse. It could have been better.
Yeah. Lakeith Stanfield was in the wrong movie, though.
Yeah, what the fuck movie was he in? I want to see the Haunted Mansion movie that he was acting in.
I know. He was seeing different ghosts than us, that's for sure.
I guess. So number 6 is The Marvels.
It's coming out on Disney Plus soon, right?
Fine.
It is.
I think, yeah.
A couple weeks, I think.
I haven't seen it yet, but
it's a middle of the road Marvel movie.
Yeah. It's not the best, but it's a lot of fun for the short amount of time it runs. And if you saw Ms. Marvel and you saw the last Captain Marvel and all that, and WandaVision, it picks up directly at the end of the Ms. Marvel series, which is cool.
Like immediately,
like
the beginning of the movie is the end of the last.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, I like Marvel. I always have, so.
Except my only complaint about it. Go ahead.
I was going to say like it's a middle of the road Marvel movie, but it's cool for me because my kids. I have 2 daughters, and so this was a whole superhero movie for the ladies with female leads, 3 of them,
and the bad guy too. The villain. My only complaint about the movie is the villain didn't have enough character development at all. You didn't really know her why she was doing what she was doing at all.
I mean, kind of. But yeah, I mean, they didn't. For what she was doing, I guess you didn't need a whole lot of setup, but it did make the character herself not super compelling.
Just 5 more minutes with her.
It sets up a problem. It sets up what the problem is, but it doesn't really set up like a character, and that is a problem. But it was fine. It's a fun enough movie.
In the bonus scene, the after credit scene, it was spoiled a little bit, but it was so surprising to me about who they had in it. I don't want to spoil it because Justin hasn't seen it, but at the end of the movie when they call her Photon, they don't really call her Photon in the movie, but all the toys do. Monica Rambeau wound up in the other place.
Oh, yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. I forgot that happened, but yeah. Mm-hmm. I was not surprised when that happened.
I was surprised about the version of the character that they used. I was expecting a different version. That's all.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to is this 5?
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay. So this will be 6. Was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves?
I forgot about that movie. It was fun.
Really fun movie. It was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I think that anyone who has been part of a long-running D&D game probably appreciated this movie more than others, because there is so much that happens in this movie that is like, oh, okay, so the writers actually play D&D because this is exactly how this scenario would probably play out in a tabletop game. Because that's what I liked about it, is the movie felt like it was written like a D&D campaign and not like it was written like a movie.
Yeah.
That's what made it
work. Worked better than just writing a movie and sticking a Wayans brother into it.
Yeah.
Yes. And you guys know my disdain for the eyes of Chris Pine. They just freak me out. but I thought he was one of the best parts of this movie. He really fit the movie well. One of my favorite small parts was in this movie too.
He's glitching. The glitching part was hilarious.
The Bradley Cooper cameo.
Mm-hmm.
George, did you see Dungeons and Dragons?
I did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Sorry, one sec.
No,
excuse me. I hope if this is like the start of a D&D cinematic universe, I might be okay with that.
I'm down for
it. This is a good start if that's something they're interested in doing. Number 5 for me, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I wanted this one to be higher. It wasn't as good as I hoped it would be. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was fun. It was okay. It was better than I expected it to be, but not as good as I'd hoped it would be.
Yeah.
I went in with low expectations, and it definitely hit those. I mean, it's a much better movie than the last one. It was just it's what you expect them to be at that age. And the Indiana Jones movie we got was one that we deserved, we wanted. I think it was a perfect ending for that version of the character.
Yeah. I think so. I liked how it wrapped up. Number 4 was Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I really loved it. I also, everyone's raving about the animation. It's, of course, fantastic.
But yet did not get nominated.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
I don't really know what to say about this one. I really liked it. It was really cool to see something Ninja Turtles that I was excited about, because it's been a while since I've been excited about a Ninja Turtles movie. And I really liked it, and it's cool. I really liked their interpretations of the characters for this generation, I guess, if you want to put it that way. I liked how they're doing it. I felt like if I was watching this fresh as a kid today, I could get into it and enjoy it. But as a 40-year-old man who was into Ninja Turtles in the 80s, I enjoyed it probably just as much. So, these aren't my Ninja Turtles, but they're the Ninja Turtles, and they're great. So, number 3 was Barbie. This was a better movie than it had any reason to be. It's really smart, really funny.
Yep.
It's got everything going for it that it needs to have going for it.
Oh yeah.
Number 2 was Oppenheimer. Honestly, this one was kind of a split between these two. I know it's kind of funny because the whole Barbenheimer thing that happened, but they were very close in terms of quality, I guess, as far as
I feel that
really well made movies. Oppenheimer was beautiful. Not necessarily like the most, I'm just going to chill on the couch and watch Oppenheimer. It's not really that kind of a movie. It's something that you have to invest in, but I think it's really worth it. It's beautiful. It's thought provoking.
I think seeing it on
masterfully
the IMAX,
done.
Seeing it on the IMAX like we did was the best way to see it.
It was really good. And so then my number 1, could probably guess from context, but number 1 was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I continue to be blown away by these movies. When the first one came out a couple years ago, I walked out of the theater going, well, animated movies are changed now. This movie changed how animated movies are done.
And then it did it again.
And then they did it again. They did it again.
And then kept you wanting for more.
So good. It's so well done. They are doing things with animation that they're changing the genre. They're changing the lexicon of what animation means. It's incredible work. If you like Spider-Man, definitely something to see. But if you are just a fan of art and visual media and just comics, I mean, this thing looks like a comic come to life in a lot of places. I can't rave enough about how amazing the animation in this movie.
In the Spider-Man 2 video game, you can get the costumes from the games, and it turns your whole game into the art style from the Spider-Verse movies. So it's
cool.
like weird missing frames, and it really fucks with your eyes when you're playing the game. It does.
That's cool though.
Any honorable mentions?
Oh, I guess I did see a couple more than that. The Mario Brothers movie was fun and completely devoid of content.
Well said.
It was fun to watch. It was visually interesting, and there were some funny and enjoyable like sight gags. But I watched it again just a couple weeks ago with family, and it is like a virtually content-free movie. Like virtually nothing happens in this movie.
Do we need a plot? No, not really.
Not really. We just need an excuse to see all of these places. And
we just need Jack Black to sing. That's all they need.
Yep.
He really made the movie.
The best thing I can say is I did not hate Chris Pratt in the movie, but
he wasn't as insufferable as I hoped he would be. Or as I expected he would be.
Expected to be.
We can all agree on that.
But yeah, I think Jack Black really carried a lot of water for that movie. Last Voyage of the Demeter was disappointing. I wanted that movie to be a lot better.
I haven't seen that yet.
It's not worth your time.
Really?
No.
Oh.
I think the problem is you already know where the movie's going before it even has a chance to get there. And it's an uphill battle the movie had to do.
That's true. And I knew that going into it, I knew that from the trailer. I'm like, well, I already know how the story ends. So what are they going to do with it?
You would say have somebody watch it if it was like streaming for free somewhere?
Not even, because there's really nothing even interesting that happens. I mean, it's a bunch of people running around.
There's some cool scenes.
There's a couple of cool scenes, but I mean, you can watch those on YouTube if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have a couple of disappointments that I didn't get to mention too, but I'll let.
Okay, we'll get to them.
If you're in particular a fan of Bram Stoker's Dracula, like the book, not the movie, but the actual book, if you're a fan of it, and you got a free afternoon, watch the movie.
Okay.
But
what if you're a fan of Dracula Dead and loving it?
Then watch that.
Even better.
Probably not.
Probably
watch
not.
that.
Okay. Watch that instead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, one of the worst Mel Brooks movies ever, but okay.
I had its moments.
George, we want to do your dishonorable mentions real quick? Your biggest
my biggest disappointments of the year. Renfield.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was fun.
Speaking of Dracula.
I thought it was fun.
I liked Renfield.
It had great promise. I loved every moment with Nicolas Cage, but everything else, anytime he wasn't on screen, I'm like, wow, this movie is a warmed up turd in a microwave.
It was more brutal than I was expecting it to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, but if it's all like CGI blood and really bad CGI and terrible stunt choreography, and for no reason, like they should have just made it into an action comedy, or a horror comedy instead of whatever the stupid action John Wick bullshit that they try to add into the movie.
All right, tell us how you really feel.
I did.
Okay.
And then my biggest disappointment of the year, which is really this hurts the most, is The Creator. I think it was devoid of anything worth watching.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's like the most beautiful looking piece of shit I've ever seen.
All right, I'm going to do my top then. On that note, I do have a couple of disappointments and a couple of honorable mentions, but I'm going to start at number 15 for me is The Marvels. What more can we say? I really enjoyed that movie. My wife loved it, and that makes me happy. Number 14 for me was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Really enjoyed this movie. Number 13 for me is The Creator. I watched that a couple weeks ago when I had COVID.
Yeah, at least it's not in your top 10.
I really, really liked it. I thought it was fun. A great sci-fi movie.
They stole everything from Akira.
I've never seen that. So
and they watched Animatrix and said, "Oh, that's a cool idea."
There was a lot of stuff from Animatrix, and I'll agree with that. Yeah,
is Animatrix and Akira mushed together and thinking, "Oh, we could do like a real world Rogue One looking movie, and it will look really cool." But
wasn't the same director, Gareth Edwards, right?
Well, yeah, sort of.
Okay. Number 12 for me. I'm surprised nobody mentioned this movie. Is Dream Scenario.
I haven't seen.
Well, you haven't had me do my top 10 yet.
Okay. I saw that. That's another movie I saw during my COVID days, and I really enjoyed it. Number 11 for me was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
I thought about putting this on my list.
I have it as an honorable mention.
It was a lot of fun. It was way better than number 2 for sure.
It just didn't make it there for me.
Number 10 for me was Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Not the Pick of Destiny, but the Dial of Destiny.
No, that movie would be worth watching. Indiana Pick of Destiny.
Indiana Jones and the Pick of Destiny. We have to have the pick to get to the dial. It's all on the guitar, the dial and the pick, I it's not the best Indiana Jones movie, but
the machine head of fate.
But look, that moment when they get into the airplane, that movie just really like kicks into high gear and becomes an awesome film.
Yeah.
Everything up to that moment, a little wishy-washy.
Number 9 for me, this is a little weird for a lot of people, but number 9 for me was Oppenheimer. I really did enjoy it, but I've only seen it that one time.
I'm surprised it even made your list at all. I didn't think you were going to like it that much.
No, why?
I just
saying I'm not. My taste of movies is not.
No, just every conversation I've seen you mentioned it on like social media didn't seem very positive. So.
Well, it's not that I didn't like the movie. It's just everybody is sucking at the teats of Oppenheimer, and it's sort of getting annoying.
I mean, Christopher Nolan did a lot for the movie industry in the last 2-3 years. So.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about that. All right. Number 8 for me is The Haunted Mansion. Yes, I know there's issues with it, but as a Haunted Mansion fanboy, I really did find a lot of redeeming qualities in it, and I really did like it.
All the shout outs to the ride. You were like, yep, I'm there for it.
Yep. Yeah. Even it was a better movie than the Eddie Murphy one, at least plot wise.
Sort of.
I mean, what?
It was sort of better.
I thought you said spoiler. I'm like, what? What spoiler?
No. It says sort of better.
Okay. And it has Rosario Dawson. I mean, come on. Number 6 for me, nobody mentioned. One of my favorite horror movies of the past year was Evil Dead Rise.
I thought it was the blandest of horror movies.
Like the blood effects were amazing. Like the death scenes were great, but like the story was just so lacking. I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was. Well, it wasn't creative at all.
You guys are the horror movie aficionados. I don't watch as many as you, admittedly, but I did like it.
It wasn't a great year for horror. Like there was only like 3 or 4.
That title card though is pretty awesome though, where she like comes out of the water.
There were things in Evil Dead that I thought were great. It's just I don't know. It was hard to care about the characters. It was hard to care about the story. I don't know.
Well, I liked it. Okay.
Hey man, you do you enjoy it.
Number 4 for me is another movie nobody's mentioned, and I really loved this movie. It was Sisu. This was the Finnish John Wick movie.
I saw a lot of people talking about that. I never watched it.
It was all right. It's cool.
It was so good. It was
just on Netflix, ain't it?
No, it was
it's streaming somewhere.
It was a straight to video, and then I think
it was in theaters. I saw it in theaters
briefly. Yeah,
I mean, it first popped up on Vudu for me, and then everybody was talking about it. And then
it's okay. Like there's another similar plot movie on Netflix that I can't remember the name for.
No, really?
That I thought was better.
I just love when Nazis get killed. That's it.
Hey man, right in
Indiana
there.
Jones,
Indiana Jones,
Indiana Jones, and Sisu killing Nazis in my top 10.
Man, that would be a crazy team up, right?
It would. Number 3 for me is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Wow, number 3.
Yeah, we've already talked about how good the animation was. George, we might be on the same wavelengths here, but number 2 for me is Godzilla -1.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. I would like to see the black and white version that they have in the theaters right now. That'd be fun.
I think it's only in for 1 week, so you got to get in there.
Really?
You can, yeah.
Number 1 for me is a long ass movie, but it was definitely worth it. It was Killers of the Flower Moon.
Hey, there you go.
I think our top 3 are the same.
Close enough.
Yeah. I do have a couple of honorable mentions of movies that I saw. I liked Gran Turismo. That movie was better than it had any right to.
I have as an honorable mention too. Like I went into Gran Turismo expecting, a cold turd laying in a freezer. Like, I mean, it should have been a garbage movie, but David Harbour was good.
Kind of was.
And
I mean,
cold turd.
did the movie need to be made? No, but it
was way more fun than it needed to be in a time when there was no other movies to watch. So it was fun.
If you like that movie, I recommend you go see Ron Howard's Rush. That's a really great Formula One race car movie. If you're looking for something kind of similar vibes.
Not about the band?
No, not about the band.
Okay. The Gran Turismo was another COVID movie that I watched. I have the Tetris movie. I thought that was fun.
They made the Apple movie.
Yeah, the Apple TV.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. I wanted
Edgerton. It's really interesting. I don't know how honestly true it is, but
probably not.
I watched Dumb Money, which is sort of the same type of movie.
Dumb Money was
about the game.
Was fun. It had a great cast. Paul Dano was fantastic.
Cast, yeah.
And watching Seth Rogen squirm was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, and
Nick Offerman too. I mean, it was a much better movie than I expected it to be.
I lived it. I didn't need to see the movie. I lived it.
My last honorable mention was Totally Killer.
That's one of my honorable mentions too. It was super fun.
It was fun. Yeah. It was like a Back to the Future horror movie. It was great.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of those movies.
And my biggest disappointment are two movies from the same studio. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which was fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Everything about that movie. The first Shazam movie was at least had some fun elements to it. I didn't like any. It was just okay. Is it over yet? And along those same lines, The Flash.
Wow, you didn't like The Flash that much, huh?
I knew I wasn't going to like it when I went into it, I'm sure, but
I actually had a lot of fun watching The Flash. I'm not a big fan of.
There are some fun elements in it. I think the movie really falls apart in toward the end when they get to the desert.
Yeah.
That's when the movie just falls apart for me.
It's flawed, but I can still enjoy it for what it is. I mean, it's a fun.
Out of the DC movies, I like Blue Beetle and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom better.
I haven't seen Aquaman yet.
I haven't heard a single.
It's exactly what you expect.
Blue Beetle was boring.
Blue Beetle was boring.
I tried. I fell asleep 3 times, and I had to stop and rewatch the movie. And I was like, "This is some boring shit."
And I don't know where to fit this movie, but I watched it, and I like parts of it. It was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Not a good Marvel movie, but there was parts of it that I liked. I don't know. It's in a weird position for me.
I didn't like any of it.
That was a bad Marvel movie.
Yeah, it's not very good. You want me to do my top 10?
Worse than Shazam! Fury of the Gods? I don't know.
It was slightly better than that.
I didn't watch that one, but it was on in my house, and
at least Helen Mirren
several
was
times,
Shazam.
and it was horrendous.
Did Helen Mirren know she was in a superhero movie? Though I don't know if she did.
Well, at least she was the better actor out of everybody in that movie.
All right, Mr. What do we call you now?
HarshJC.
HarshJC. Don't harsh my buzz, man.
You call him Mr. Harsh.
Mr. Harsh.
Harsh.
All right, so number 10 for me was Infinity Pool. It came out.
Man, I wanted to like that movie.
It's not a perfect movie, but again, this is sample size. I didn't watch.
I think
as many movies.
I really loved the concept of that movie. I thought the concept of the movie was fantastic. I don't
even know what that is.
It's just he lost anything he wanted to say with that movie 10 minutes in.
Yeah, it's Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth. Basically, she meets him when he's on vacation and lures him to hang out with her friends, and then they kill him. But he wakes up and basically there's this mystical place in the city where they're at where you can be reborn, and they keep fooling around with dying and coming back to life, even to the point where they execute themselves just for fun.
That's not how I remembered it.
This is the Cronenberg.
I'm trying to explain
right?
it, at a broad overview, because it's been a while since I watched it.
Basically, they commit a crime and they kill somebody by accident when they leave the compound, and
the first time,
and then they have to be the sentence that they have to give out is death. But if they're super rich, they can bypass that thing by creating a clone.
George is explaining it better than
and then the clone gets murdered. And that is such a way interesting concept than what actually happens in the movie.
Yeah.
But they end up abusing this loophole in this little small country.
But it's it's not a perfectly executed movie, but there's so many interesting things that happen in it. And I thought it was one of the most unique horror movies I've seen in a long time, even if it wasn't a perfect film.
There's some really gross shots.
Yeah, there is. But I mean, there was in Possessor 2, and Possessor is one of my like favorite horror movies of the last 10 years.
I hate. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. My my microphone went crazy for a second.
So, anyways, Infinity Pool's my number 10. Number 9 was Barbie. Barbie was so much better than I expected it to be. Just a really great movie with great heart, great visuals, great everything.
Just great directing. I'm so surprised that she didn't get nominated for Best Director.
Greta Gerwig should have been nominated for Best Director, and Margot Robbie should have been nominated for Best Actress.
Well, look, I don't think Margot Robbie did anything amazing in the role of acting.
Did Ryan Gosling?
Yeah, but I don't think Ryan Gosling should have gotten nominated either. Even though he's the hilarious and a standout. He
got nominated. That's the whole point of the movie.
I mean, Michael Cera should have gotten nominated for Best Supporting Character, if anything.
Sure.
Michael Cera was pretty great.
But Barbie was great. I think we all had it on our list, so, take that for what it is. Number 8 for me was Dream Scenario. It's, again, not a perfect movie, but it's so interesting, and the first 3/4 of the movie are really great. And then the ending's just kind of a little bit short, but
I feel that
it is what it is. I love Nick Cage. This was the Nick Cage movie that came out. It was produced by A24, which is my favorite film studio. Ari Aster was one of the producers. I love him. Had so many things in it that I couldn't not include it. It just it was such a great movie, except for maybe the ending. Number 7, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What, George?
No spoilers, because I want to see it.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was my number 7. Just mind-blowing animation. I didn't think they could do better than they did in the first one, and somehow they did. Everything you guys said, I agree with. It's just a great movie. Number 6 was Talk to Me. George and I already kind of talked about that a little bit. Great horror movie. The second best horror movie of the year. And
I'm going to have to watch it.
Number 5 for me was Past Lives.
I wanted to see that too. I haven't seen it.
It's a really beautiful romance story. That's really sad. It's kind of like these people met as kids and had this friendship and had this kind of like love between them. And then years go by and the woman has moved away and met another man, fallen in love. And then the boy who she loved when she was a child comes back into her life. And they're foreign. They live in Taiwan, I think. And then she moves to New York City when she's like a teenager, meets a man, falls in love, gets married. This guy comes back and it's like clear throughout the whole thing that he was her, one true love. She was meant to be with him, but he's so respectful of the other people's boundaries that he just doesn't cross any lines. And it's just this real tense and beautiful story about all three of the people and how they're dealing with that situation. It's a great movie if you like dramas like that. Number 4 was Saltburn. Drinking bathwater and fucking graves. I don't know what else to say. It's
spoiler alert, but yeah.
I knew the bathwater part, but I didn't know the other
Barry
part.
Keoghan, man, that's not even the worst part.
When it happens in the movie, I'm like, is he about to? I'm like, oh yeah, he totally is.
Now the scene with the sister is the worst part by far.
Oh yeah, I mean that is a gross scene.
But it's I loved this movie. I can't remember the director's name, George. I'm sure you know it.
I know the movie she directed. I can't remember her name right now.
Anyways, same director did Promising Young Woman with Carey Mulligan, and I fucking loved that movie. So I knew I was going to like Saltburn going in.
Oh, yeah.
People had been talking about it for weeks leading up to the reveal on Amazon Prime, and then I watched it like the day it dropped because I'd been waiting so long. I was blown away. Like I loved it, the whole thing from beginning to end. And then
her name is Emerald Fennell.
Yeah. And then watching everybody else's reactions online has just been a real source of joy for me for the last 2 months, because people that aren't used to this type of movie, watching this type of movie, it shocks them to their core. And it's just hilarious to me to watch it happen.
I thought it was hilarious too. Some of the comments online are great.
Yeah. And then my number 3 is the best horror movie of the year, When Evil Lurks.
This is the movie I've been wanting to see. I just haven't made time to see it. It looks awesome.
So imagine if a demon
don't spoil it
possesses an entire town and not just one person. And the two main protagonists who realize what's going on are trying their best to escape it, but it's able to go wherever they are. So there is some of the most brutal, hard to watch scenes I've seen in a horror movie in a really long time in this film. And it's a great story. I mean, it's all in Spanish. It's a Spanish film. Great story, great acting, great effects. And it ends in a place where it doesn't have to have a sequel, but there's definitely room for a sequel. So I would love to see a second movie in this franchise.
It's available to watch now if you have AMC Plus.
Yeah, it's, if you don't mind watching foreign films with subtitles and you like horror, you must watch this movie because it is visceral and unlike anything you've seen before. It's truly a unique horror movie. Number 2 for me was Poor Things, the comedy of the year.
I want to see that so badly.
I love Emma Stone. I've always liked Emma Stone. Mark Ruffalo. If anybody got robbed at the Oscars, it was fucking Mark Ruffalo. He should have been nominated for the best comedic performance for this movie. No,
he wasn't.
He was not.
No.
Nobody has ever made me laugh so many consecutive times in a film as Mark Ruffalo did in this movie. And this movie's not even meant to really be a comedy at its heart. It's like a Frankenstein type of story with comedic elements. It is more elaborate and more fucked up than that. What's actually occurring. I don't want to give too much away, but it's stylistically very weird. Like half of the movie's in black and white, the other half's in color, but the colors are so vibrant. The cinematography is incredible in this movie. Willem Dafoe is just such a bizarre character in here. They made him look even weirder than he normally looks with prosthetics. There's so many quotable moments in this film too. All around, this was one of the most fun experiences I've had at the theater in, I don't even know how long, 10 years, 20 years. Like it's it's such a good movie. And I feel like once it comes out on demand, it's going to be one that I revisit over and over again because it's a long movie. It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think. You couldn't absorb it all the first time. There's just no way. And there's so much to like and appreciate about it. I really just can't say enough good things. If you like weird, artistic, vulgar comedies that also have horror elements built in, this is for you. So check it out. And then my number 1, no surprise at all, Godzilla -1, the most amazing version of Godzilla that's ever existed. So much heart in this movie. Just tons of heart. I liked all the characters. I liked all of the referential stuff that was in the movie. I just liked everything about it. I cried twice watching it, and I don't fucking cry during movies. So if that tells you something, see Godzilla because it's something.
That's great.
It's one of those movies that has something for everybody. Even if you're not a big Godzilla person, it's really like this incredible drama that has Godzilla as the driving force behind it. But it's not really just like, oh, there's a monster and this is the whole story.
I'm ready for that sequel, man. As well,
it was so good. And then for honorable mentions for me, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 I thought was a lot of fun. Gran Turismo, way better than I expected it to be. Beau was Afraid. It has problems, like George said, but 2/3 of it was awesome. And I wish Ari had leaned heavier into the horror elements. Totally Killer was really fun. And then the only other one is a horror movie from Denmark called The Conference that I watched during our Halloween 31 days. It's about this company that takes all their people on retreat to this campground where they all have cabins and stuff. And then because these people are trying to build a shopping mall and the local residents don't want it, they start getting attacked. But it doesn't really reveal who the killer is or anything till the end. But some of the death scenes in here are just so unique and fun. And the characters are so unlikable, most of them, that you're kind of rooting for them to die. Except for the final girl, who was really fun. I can't say enough good things about it. It's a foreign film. Again, if you don't like foreign films, you probably won't enjoy it. But if you do, and you like horror, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
Do you have any just honorable mentions?
Maestro. Maestro was a piece of shit. Bradley Cooper did the best he could. I think he fucking... I read about it. He's been studying for like 6 years how to actually conduct, how to do all this, and he poured his heart and soul into this movie that has the worst script I've fucking ever seen. Like,
didn't he direct it too?
I just don't understand, because like it had Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan. I should have loved this movie. I hated it though. I hated every minute of it. It was so fucking boring.
Have not watched that. I've seen it on while I'm flipping. I know what Sarah Silverman's in it too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of great people in it. It's just a bad movie.
I hear Carey Mulligan's really good in it.
Carey Mulligan's good in everything. She's like one of the best.
It's because she has a great name.
Could be.
Yeah, I think it's it.
It's the secret to all of Carey's success.
It is. It's just changing her name to Cary. We still have TV to get through, and I know we're getting long in the tooth. So
let's let George go first, so we can run through TV. We just won't spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's going to be the best thing. George, my friend, you're
all right. My best TV of the year. I'm going to go pretty quick here. So
let's do it.
Netflix is The Beef. Awesome. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Are you doing it by number? You're number 10?
Yeah, this is like the bottom to the top.
Okay. And
then right after that, I got Bear Season 2, one of the best television shows on TV right now. Netflix's Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. If you've ever been a fan of Scott Pilgrim, this is a really good sequel / reimagining.
I watched the first episode, but I haven't gone back to it.
That's great. And Gen V, the spin-off of The Boys, just as crazy and fun as The Boys. If not a little bit weirder. A lot of dick pain in this one. A lot of exploding dicks.
It's true.
It's right up George's alley.
Last season of the Righteous Gemstones. Fabulous.
That was so good.
They're so funny this year.
I forgot about that.
And totally then the top 3 is Netflix's Blue Eye Samurai, easily one of my favorite anime shows of the year. And then on Max, there's another show called Scavenger's Reign. It is so awesome. If you haven't seen it, guys, I implore you to watch it. It's about this freight spaceship that crashes on this alien planet, and I've never seen anything more creative and more alien in my life. It is so good.
REIGN?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Max. It's, I think, like 9 episodes. Easy breezy, but man, is it go hard, and it's a great show.
Awesome. I haven't heard about that.
And my number 1 show of the year is Apple TV's Silo.
I started that. I got maybe like 2 episodes in, but I haven't gone back to it.
And so I'm all for that. It's a great show. Real quick, if you don't know what it's about these people stuck in a silo. Very Fallout vibes, but in a very drama way, as opposed to, in a comedy way. And then these people starting to question if they really need to be in the silo or not post nuclear holocaust.
Interesting.
Yeah. It seems fun. I need to go back to it. Dave, do you want to go next? Wait, hold on.
Short.
Do you have any honorable mentions or biggest disappointments?
No, not for TV. I'll skip on that stuff.
Awesome.
Mine's short. I didn't really watch new TV this year much at all. There are a couple of filler shows off of Netflix, How to Become a Cult Leader and How to Become a Mob Boss. Like I said, it's just like filler TV, entertaining enough.
I started watching those.
Peter Dinklage narrates them. It's kind of a funny take on a documentary series. It's a documentary series, obviously, respectively, about mob bosses and cult leaders. And I think there's one for tyrants now, too. And so it's a documentary, but each episode is sort of written like this is a guidebook on how to be these things. It's not, they don't really like lean into it real heavy. It's just kind of a shtick. It's kind of cute. Fun enough background noise TV. The only real TV I actually sat and watched that was new this year was Fall of the House of Usher. And I loved it. I think it was one of the, I'm a big Flanagan fan. And I would put this pretty high up on his TV work.
Same here.
I think it's really well done.
But it doesn't beat Midnight Mass.
Yeah, it does by a lot. I hated Midnight Mass.
It's Midnight Mass is his magnum opus.
No, disagree.
I don't know if I like it better than Midnight Mass or not. I think that they're fairly comparable. I liked Midnight Mass a great deal.
I liked it until the next to last episode.
That's it for me, though. House of Usher was the only fresh TV that I watched this year, really. So I made it a good one.
You said short. That was short.
I was really glad that this series actually ended up happening because they had to stop production and change actors when the original Mr. Usher got fired for being inappropriate with some of the cast members. And so when that happened,
the original actor? Do you remember?
Oh, I'm forgetting his name. I'm going blank on his name. You know the guy. You recognize him. But yeah, he got too handsy with, so he got let go. And I was really worried when that happened that it was going to kill the project. And I was really looking forward to this one because I like
Frank Langella. It was Skeletor.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I really like Flanagan's House series. I've enjoyed all of them, and I was really looking forward to this one because it was going to be Poe themed, and I like how they worked all of the Edgar Allan Poe stuff into it, but still made it a modern story. I thought most of those beats were really right on. Really enjoyable. If you're an Edgar Allan Poe fan, watch this. If you're just a good suspense horror story fan, watch this. I really like it. A lot of cool visual stuff going on in it as well.
That acid rain was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, what about you, sir?
Sure. My number 10 was Loki season 2. Only Marvel one that made it onto my list. I thought it was they really did Loki justice in this season, and set up a bridge for fixing a lot of the problems that the current Marvel universe has. So I'm excited to see where things go now.
A literal bridge.
Yeah, now that Loki's out, I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. Number 9 was Only Murders in the Building season 3. Again, just a really fun show. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. They're a great team. All very fun to watch. A lot of good supporting.
Matthew Broderick in this season was amazing too.
Yeah, Matthew Broderick was great. Number 8 was Yellow Jackets season 2. I loved season 1. Season 2 wasn't quite as strong, but more of the cannibalism and the stuff that they kind of kept secret in the first season is starting to get revealed. I feel like if they don't try to run this show for too long, if they stop it at season 3 or 4, it's going to end up being a great series. But if they go through,
I don't have access to Showtime right now, so I haven't watched it yet, but I really do want to.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a lot of bloat at this point, so I'm hoping that they continue with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 7 was a personal favorite of mine, Wheel of Time season 2. I've loved Robert Jordan's books for decades, and Wheel of Time is one of my all-time favorites. I love being able to watch it translated for TV. It's not entirely true to the story, but the changes they've made, I think, make sense personally. And it's just really fun to watch it occur. Something that I read when I was in middle school for the first time. Number 6 for me was Fall of the House of Usher. I agree with everything Dave said. It's fantastic. I would say it's Mike Flanagan's best TV show, personally. George disagrees. That's fine. My rankings would be Fall of House of Usher, Hill House, Midnight Mass, and then Bly Manor, because Bly Manor is unwatchable almost.
I don't agree with that assessment at all, but that ranking is probably about the same as mine.
It's just because, so Bly Manor is just the turning of the screw, right? And I saw like 7 or 8 different versions of Turn of the Screw in the years leading up to Bly Manor.
I didn't know the story, so.
And it just, like, Rahul Kohli was doing his best to like save that show, and it just couldn't do it for me. I did not like Bly Manor at all. It was boring. Number 5 was The Last of Us season 1. It was really, really good. I've never played the game, so that was my first exposure to that storyline. Pedro Pascal is fun to watch. It just is what it is.
Is he your zaddy?
He's not really my zaddy, but I like him.
Me either.
He's a good
I like
actor.
him too.
Yeah. Number 4.
He's a weird dude.
Zombie Daddy, is that what that is?
Yeah.
What is? Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I've seen memes and stuff. Is that what it means? Zombie Daddy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 4 for me was The Bear season 2.
You all disgust me.
I mean, there's a reason it's getting so much critical acclaim. The Bear is just.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
The Bear season 2.
No, The Bear. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm surprised George didn't have it higher on his list. To be honest, it's just such a good show.
It's amazing. I love it,
especially that episode where they had all the cameos.
Yeah, the Christmas episode.
Yes,
that was just something unique and
man,
special.
It reminded me of too many family Christmases that we've had at my house.
Jamie Lee Curtis outdid herself in that episode.
Yeah, she really did. Number 3 is Righteous Gemstones. Just a great season.
God, I forgot about fun. That season.
Number 2 for me was Beef. I had it much higher than George. I thought Stephen Yeun and Ali Wong were just a lot of fun in that movie. It's an A24 produced TV series, and all of those have been pretty good so far. I thought that show was just a lot of fun. And then number 1 was Fargo season 5, which, I mean, it bled into 2024, I guess, but
yeah, a little bit. I will allow that because
John Hamm,
yeah,
just such a weird performance from him, and odd character for him to play, and
it was like taking his Kimmy Schmidt character to the next.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So Cary's talked about Fargo a lot. It's one of his favorite shows. I finally got around to watching it all this year. Season 1, amazing. Season 2, almost as good as season 1.
Yeah.
Season 3 and 4, kind of okay. Just there were parts I liked. Not that good.
I like season 4 because it was so different.
Yeah, but then season 5, man, they came back with a vengeance. That first episode was one of the best episodes of TV I've watched since Breaking Bad went off the air.
Let me ask you, were you satisfied with the ending?
Yeah, I was very satisfied with the ending. I love the hitman. I thought he was such a great element, just such a
Munch.
I think his name was Munch. Yeah, he's like tied to all this. You don't know if he's completely crazy or if he actually has some kind of linkage to the past or what's going on.
Like an immortal or something.
Yeah, but I mean, his character was just so menacing and everything throughout the whole show. And then the main character, the girl, holy shit, she was incredible throughout the whole thing.
Not as annoying as she is in Ted Lasso, but
I don't watch that show.
She was great in this show.
Yeah,
I don't find her annoying in Ted Lasso.
I do,
but yeah, Fargo. Nothing else came close to it this past year. It was the best show by far.
Any honorable mentions or dishonorable?
Yes, I got a couple of honorable mentions. I think You Should Leave season 3 with Tim Robinson. I mean, it won an Oscar for a reason. I've liked Tim Robinson's comedy. I've seen him do some stand-up. I think You Should Leave season 1 and 2. There's enough weird stuff in there that was also really funny that it kept me interested in him. And I went back this year and I watched his old show Detroiters, which was really good. And then
that's the one with Sam Richardson.
Mm-hmm. And then season 3 of I Think You Should Leave came out, and it's like if the first 2 seasons were like 7 or 8 out of 10 comedies, season 3 is like a 9.5 out of 10. I mean, it's just a laugh riot from beginning to end because it's so awkward.
I always hear people talking about it, but I haven't started it yet. I need to.
Yeah, you have to like
you have to like him, or you won't like the show. I mean,
it's sketch comedy, right?
It's sketch comedy.
Yeah, it's a sketch comedy show.
I mean, I love that shit.
Barry season 4 was an honorable mention. Ahsoka was an honorable mention. Party Down season 3 was an honorable mention, and then The Curse. The Curse was A24's new show on Showtime, Paramount.
That's Emma Stone.
It's Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder. It's written by Benny Safdie, and he's also in the show as well. It's a super awkward, tension-filled thing that almost can't really be called a comedy.
Somebody needs to share their Showtime with me. That's all.
There are funny moments in it, especially in the first episode. There's a lot of laughs in the first episode, and then 8 episodes of tension, and then the wildest, craziest, unexplainable, bizarre fucking ending episode I've ever seen in a show ever.
Okay.
And I mean, I think Nathan Fielder wrote it that way just to like make it inaccessible to people that aren't already into weird shit. If you like weird shit, or you like Nathan Fielder's brand of comedy, or you like Uncut Gems, or Good Time, or the Safdie Brothers shows, and there's a lot of overlap with that. I would say, you might enjoy The Curse a lot, but don't watch it just because you're an Emma Stone fan, because you will be sorely disappointed.
Understood. All right. Well, thank you for your picks. I'm going to do my top 10, and I have some honorable mentions as well. Number 10 for me was Barry season 4. Great way to end that show. Number 9 for me, this is the last minute audible. I think I used that sports term correctly. Righteous Gemstone season 3. I forgot about it. I added it on. Number 8 for me was Loki season 2. Totally agree. It was a great show. We had a lot of fun watching that. Number 7 for me is the show that just got canceled, but Our Flag Means Death season 2. Loved it. They did an ending to that show where they could have gone further, but I think it sort of works as an ending too, and I liked it. Number 6 for me was The Bear season 2. That I binged the hell out of that show earlier, like in the year, like season 1 and season 2, like it just within like 4 or 5 days. It was crazy. It's like they're addictive. You just want to watch the next one and keep on going.
It's hard. It's a hard one to watch weekly as it releases. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 5 for me was Beef. I started that way earlier in the year, and I watched maybe like the first 3 episodes, and I was like, okay. But then it started winning all these awards. I'm like, I'm going to go back to it and finish the show in like one sitting. It was just really, really good. Yeah. It's surprising that, the basic premise of the show, I'm like, how are they going to do 8 or 9 episodes just on that whole, road rage thing? Mm-hmm. But they did, and it was really well done. Number 4 for me was Poker Face season 1. I really loved Poker Face.
I haven't watched it, but I like the girl who's in there, the main actress. She's great.
I tried to watch it.
Natasha Lyonne. Yeah.
I don't know. She kind of grated on me after like 4 episodes. I was like, okay, I think
I can see that. I mean, she's like an either you love her or you hate her type of actress. She can. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Number 3 for me was Fargo season 5. Like Justin said, such a phenomenal show. This season, I really
it's one of the best seasons. It might be the best season. It's real close with number 1 in my opinion.
The what's the kid from Stranger Things?
Yeah, the main kid,
Joe Keery. Yeah, he was great in this series too.
Gator.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Number 2 for me was For All Mankind season 4.
I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah,
I started that show because you guys have talked about it so much. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in.
If you like sci-fi and alternate history, man, that's
This season it's not the best season they've had, but there's a lot of really interesting things.
I'm liking it so far. I think I'm on episode 3 of the new season, and I'm liking it.
They take some very interesting directions in this season. His beard is annoying though. His fake beard, Joe Kinnaman.
Well, the old people makeup is not great.
No,
in this season, but I mean, they can't have Joel Kinnaman and the rest of the people forever, right? So,
right. I did watch the Joel Kinnaman John Woo movie,
Silent Night.
That was not very good.
Yeah, I heard it was terrible.
All right. Number 1 for me is also a TV show that we've mentioned already, and that was The Last of Us season 1. Phenomenal show. I'm already a big fan of the games. And
see, that's the problem for me. Like,
I get it.
The game verbatim, like it didn't do anything different.
Yeah, but it worked because not everybody's played the game.
You can just watch the game on YouTube, and it's a better experience.
People aren't going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't watch. I don't watch gameplay. Like, I wouldn't do that. But I'll watch it as a show.
The show just does not hold a candle to the game.
I do have some honorable mentions we'll get through. I agree. Gen V season 1 was great.
Yeah, it was good.
Great stuff in that show. Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I
haven't finished it yet. I've only watched 2 episodes of it so far.
The first 2 episodes are great, and the last episode is great, and 3 through
in between
3 through 6 or whatever it was, they were just okay.
Okay. I liked the first 2 episodes. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued. I just haven't made time for it.
It could have been better. But there's a lot of
the Muppets Mayhem is on my list.
Did that come out this year or last year?
I think it came out this year.
I thought it came out in 2022. I would have put that on my list, but I could be wrong.
It was already canceled.
I mean, it had a good ending. It didn't need a sequel.
It was 2023, yeah.
I really liked that show. That was fun.
In May. Yeah, it was fun. I really like Twisted Metal. That's another thing that was better than it had any right to be, based on a weird, obscure old video game. It's fun. I'm going to put Ahsoka and The Mandalorian both together. I liked Ahsoka more than I wanted to. It was weird because like I really love Rebels, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work as a live action, but it does. And there's parts of it that weren't great, but
because it's like half of a show. It's a half-baked idea.
Okay, we're getting annoyed.
I liked it better than Mandalorian, personally.
I did too. I liked it better than it was. Like I kept watching, but like there's so many episodes where nothing happens.
I'm gonna mention the Bad Batch season 2. I just finished it on the holiday the cruise we went on. Season 3 is already coming out February 21st, so not much.
Final season.
Their final season, yeah. I know the show got a lot of hate and people didn't love it, but I sort of I like parts of it. Some stuff in it I didn't like as much, but I'm talking about Willow. Already been deleted from everybody's memory banks.
I watched 2 episodes and then I never went back to it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I really like the Frasier reboot.
It was better than I expected it to be. I watched that a couple weeks ago. I didn't think it was going to work how it did, but it kind of reminded me of watching Frasier when I was a kid, so I liked it.
It was there was definitely over the top sitcom moments, but
the laugh track was hard to deal with. They shouldn't have done the laugh track. Aside from that,
we live in a world where laugh tracks aren't that
prevalent anymore.
Normal anymore. Yeah,
it would have been better without it.
I agree. The After Party season 2, I really enjoyed that. Another show that's gone away. Shrinking. Did anybody else watch that?
I started it, but I didn't get the chance to finish.
Okay, I thought that was really good. Only Murders in the Building season 3. We mentioned that earlier. Yeah, I started with Only Murders Outside the Building, but then they brought it back. Brought it home. Mm-hmm. What We Do in the Shadows season 5. Another show that's going away soon. Sad. And that's my list. Did anybody mention Ted Lasso season 3?
Did that come out last year?
I believe it did. It came out like beginning of the year, I believe.
I mean, I liked it. It wasn't their best season, but it was good.
Yeah, agreed. Go ahead, Dave.
While you were going through that, I remembered that I did watch The Mandalorian, but then apparently I forgot that I watched it. It
felt like so long ago, right?
Yeah, and I frankly don't remember hardly anything that happened in it. I know that I watched it.
Not a lot happened, so don't feel bad.
But I did watch that, and I watched What We Do in the Shadows as well. So
it's always good.
I don't mind that they're wrapping it up. Like I feel like they've done what they can do with it.
It's better to go out on top than to sort of like
rather
struggle.
Than do that.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm. I found myself just kind of like not going back to it. Like I was watching it avidly for a while, then I just would forget about it.
I'm going to ask you guys, what's out of everything in your life, whatever it is, what's your best moment of 2023?
It was over.
Besides that being over.
Well, I mean, whatever you guys say, it's not going to top mine. It was the first time my daughter said "dada." So,
okay, that's true. I can't beat that. George, you don't have anything?
No, I don't.
What about you, Dave? Do you have a favorite 2023 moment?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that at all. I guess when I succeeded last year in building and opening a shop in 6 weeks before our big show started.
That's something to definitely be proud of.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mine's
getting ready to go back.
Yep.
Gearing up for this year.
Mine is happened in September, where I met Mickey from the Monkees and got the autograph, and now the tattoo. It was a great moment in my life, in my year.
I can't remember if I asked you, but was that the plan or was that a spur of the moment decision?
It was sort of like the day before decision.
Okay.
I was like, if I didn't try to do it, I would probably regret it, right? And it doesn't say no. It's like doesn't say no regrets, but
yeah,
like not that tattoo. But it was just should I do it? We talked about it. We asked him. He said yes, and it just happened like that. So
cool.
He was really cool. All right. So before we wrap it up, I want to know what's tickling our geek in this first month of 2024. We'll start with George. This is your segment. Your time to shine.
I don't know if I've had anything tickling my geek in the beginning of the month. Month is almost over, so I'm happy about that. I'm excited that Justin's ready to start working on the comic again. I don't really have anything else. I do have some movies that are coming out in 2024 that I want to see, but
that's tickling. That's fine. That's what's tickling your geek.
Yeah, but it's not this month though. They're all like later in the year.
That's fine. It doesn't. I think you misunderstood me.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be what's tickling your geek this month, but like right now.
Okay. So Dune 2, I'm super excited. The new Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm really I'm excited about that. I really want to like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Trailer looks good. Hopefully,
Frozen Empire sounds like a metal band.
Hopefully it's not as bad as the last one. And Nosferatu, really excited about that. And Alien Romulus, I really want that to be good too.
Have you seen the teasers for Longlegs?
Wait,
No.
For what?
Longlegs. It's a new horror movie coming out where Nicolas Cage is a serial killer, but there's some kind of supernatural element to it, and they're playing it real hush hush. The movie's called Longlegs, and like there's a bunch of these teaser trailers that are dropping that are like 30 seconds long, with like these deranged 911 calls and like images of this smiling family, and then like an image of a dead girl's body with her legs all stretched out. I don't know anything about the movie, but it looks fucking cool. Their marketing campaign's working.
Is the Nosferatu movie it's actually happening?
Yes, Robert Eggers.
Because it was like on again, off again for a long time.
I think it's filmed and it's already edited, or they're editing it now, and it's gonna come out this year.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too.
Cool. Then I'm looking forward to that.
Anything else?
And that's all I got.
What about you, Dave? You have anything that's tickling your geek?
It was so fresh in the year. I haven't really looked that far ahead yet. I guess I'm excited. I guess I talked about this last time, I think. So it'll just have to carry me over for now. I'm actually excited about the Fallout show. I didn't think that was going to be. I was resistant. I was resistant to it until the trailer came out a few weeks ago, and it looks like they're hitting all the notes and have it. Bethesda's involved, and they're saying it's canon. And I know that that means they've got people who are on it for accuracy and all of that stuff. So I think it's going to be good. Walton Goggins is a ghoul.
I was about to say anything with Walton Goggins in it. What about you, Justin?
Oh man, too much to say. Looking forward to this Sunday because I'm going to see Hath finally live. Really excited for that. Super excited about the new site, harshvocals.com. Just to remind everybody, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram as Harsh Vocals Site. And then if you want to find us on Facebook, just look for Harsh Vocals. Really excited about those. This year, there's going to be a ton of tours that I'm going to be going to. Really committed to going to concerts this year. Very excited to get back to work on Speak No Evil. Very excited to resume with Mind Fudge as well. And then there's an album that came out this past week that I'm pretty sure is going to end up on everybody's end of the year lists. It's just that fucking good. This California band called Upon Stone. They released this melodic death metal album that's 32 minutes long, and it is 32 minutes of pure bliss. Such a good fucking album if you haven't checked it out yet. So that's what I've been jamming to all week, and will probably continue to throughout the rest of the year.
I have a album that's on my list that I've been jamming to all week, and that's the new Lord Dying album.
It's really good
Clandestine
too. Yeah.
Transcendence. Such a good album. It's so hard to classify, but it reminds me of like In the Woods, and it reminds me there's Opus moments and there's black metal moments. And
there's a lot of, I think overarchingly it's a doom album.
Yeah,
it's a melodic doom album, but there's so many built-in elements that are from other subgenres. And like you're right, it is very hard to classify, but I listened to it twice to really get the full effect, and it's a fantastic album. Just it's one you'll probably have to sit with a little bit to really fully appreciate.
I think it's going to wind up high on my list of the year. There's another band that I wanted to mention. Sgaile, I don't know how to pronounce them, but they're called Sgaile, Sgaile. Just a phenomenal progressive post-metal band. I get elements of like Bortnagar. The guy can hit some fucking high notes. It's such a good album. Yeah, really, really good.
The music I love. Because I listened to that whole album one way through. I couldn't get past the vocals though. I mean, it's clean singing pretty much the whole way through. There are a couple moments where he hits those notes that are really impressive. I just can't sit and listen to clean vocals for an hour and a half. It's too much for me.
That's why your podcast is called Harsh Vocals.
That is why my podcast is
not clean vocals.
That's why my website's called Harsh Vocals.
There you go.
And again, if anybody wants to write articles or do interviews or anything, hit me up.
Another thing I'm excited for is Mr. Bungle is coming to Houston on May 8th. I didn't know they were going to be. I never expected them to come here, so it's going to be fun. Scott Ian, Dave Lombardo. It's going to be a good time. And surprised George didn't mention this, but I watched the whole Xbox Direct thing where they talked about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
I'm very timid about it.
I'm looking forward to I'll put that one on mine. I'm looking forward to that game. Bethesda is doing
a Bethesda game, right?
Doing an exploratory Indiana Jones game that's first person Nazi punching action. I'm there.
It's the first person that gives me reservation.
It changes the third person when it parts.
It only changes the third person when you're climbing or swinging. So
I don't know that we know that for sure at this point, but like I
think that is true.
I'm cool with it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. I don't own an Xbox, so that's the only way to play it, and I don't have a gaming PC. So, am I gonna buy a Xbox just to play this game? I'm not sure. I'm excited for it, but at the same time,
once it comes out and the reviews get really good, you're gonna be like, okay, maybe.
It's also like a Game Pass game too, right?
I don't think so. I don't know about that one. I don't believe it is.
That's what I thought I heard. At least what I thought I read was it's a Game Pass game.
That's it for me. Oh, the last thing I wanted to mention, the game that I'm playing right now is going to be, if this came out anytime in 2023, it would have been my number one game of the year. It's Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is the best Metroidvania game I've played since Ori. It's more action oriented, and there's a lot of narrative involved in the game. A lot of the Metroidvania has been coming out recently are very Dark Souls based, and this is not. This is like just straight up action adventure inside of a Metroidvania game, and it looks so good. I'm playing it on the Switch, and I over the past weekend I probably put in like 12, 15 hours into it. I don't think I'm anywhere near the end of the game. I'm on a boss right now where I'm like having a little bit of issues, but that's the fun part, right?
Yep.
If it was too easy, you would be upset. A lot of exploring. I can't recommend that game enough. All right, well, that's 2023 in a nutshell. Our 2023 rewind in a nutshell. Thanks to you guys for hanging out with us this evening. So I guess we'll go around the table, let everybody know where they can find them. even though Justin's already thrown it in a few times. George, where can people find you?
You can find me on almost all social medias, including Threads. Yeah, I'm on there now. Just at George Trips is at everything.
Dave?
At Red Viking Dave on various things.
All the various things. If search for Red Viking Dave, if he's there, you'll find him. If he's not there, you won't.
Look for me on the profile picture for Harsh Vocals.
Yep.
There you go.
That's for you.
Yeah.
All right, Justin, one more time, please.
Again, the new site is harshvocals.com. Please check it out. Subscribe to the podcast if you can. Leave comments. It's a forum as well as a blog site, so people can interact with us and post their opinions on our opinions if they want to. You can also follow me and the site on social media everywhere as Harsh Vocals Site. And you can still find me as at Comical JC pretty much everywhere else. So.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, thanks to everybody again for checking out our 2023 Rewind. Of course, you can find us all over the internet as well. We're at metalgeeks.net. You can find this show and our sister show, MSRcast, together. We're on all the places where you can download your podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, all those good places. If you're on Facebook, come join the Metal Geek Society, where we talk about all kinds of geeky stuff and just have a lot of fun. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's
I have one more thing. So as of last Sunday, I've been podcasting for 10 years. Can you believe that?
Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. Happy anniversary, or happy belated anniversary.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think in a couple of months, this show is hitting 10 years, which is it's a crazy, right?
It is. It really is. Time flies.
This is what 20. So MSRcast was started way before. I think we're coming up on our 19th year of podcasting.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It's crazy. What the fuck is a podcast? All right, guys. I heard that a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking us out again. And as always, we have one last thing we have to say.
Balls.
No. We haven't said that yet.
No. Keep it metal for 2024, my friends.
That's right. Anything else, George?
Keep it sleazy for 2024.
Okay.
Keep it ballsy.
I like that.
Sure. I'm going to say keep it bungly.
Bungly?
And keep it geeky.
There you go.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Hey, Geekazoids. Thanks for listening to another fine podcast brought to you by MSR Productions. All rights reserved, blah, 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 blah. For reviews, archives of our podcasts, and all your other metal geekery needs, please visit metalgeeks.net. Keep it geeky. Keep it metal.